Hey, SM, what's up, man? Alrighty, let's get started. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Glad to be back on the news route. I've missed everybody. Right. Where am I? Hey, there I am. What's up, everyone? Man, I had some good news today. I went and saw my doctor. She talked about the what's going on with my back, and the good news is she said surgery isn't like imminent. Hey, Neo, what's up, man? So, yay! I don't have to go like rushing off to get back surgery, so that's a win. Especially with yeah, it's a really good win, Neo. Especially with the new APT, baby number 3, due any day now. So, other than that, man, it's been a pretty chill day. Except I tried to source some parts for Agent Zero's ATV because he shredded his gears at the race this weekend, and so I finally got a hold of my my dealer. She's gonna overnight me some parts. So that means probably Thursday night. It's gonna be a lot of slapping that thing together. And then I'm gonna have my son test drive it, so a lot of fun there. Hopefully he'll be good with it. I think he will be. Let's see. I was taking a quick look at the news just before we hopped on. There's a couple of interesting ones here. Updates with Cobalt Strike. Again, we already know this password reuse. Actually, there's some really good ones in today's. The one I'm most looking forward to is actually this other one down here in the news. This has to deal with this story is about a company called Deal and Rippling, and how Rippling caught a corporate spy for Deal in their environment. It's really good. Oh, hey, this is the Bad Sector Labs blog. Thank you, just such an awesome job getting all this stuff together. And so I'll keep some other. I haven't actually been on the news beat a lot. I've been heads down, busy, getting stuff between my back sorted out. Work's been a little bit busy. Back's been between work, back, very pregnant wife. It's just been crazy. So I usually would have like some additional stories I'd come up with this, but I thought it'd be good to do. It's always a nice fallback. This blog actually, by the way, it comes out on Mondays. So if you want to get a day ahead on the story, just sign up for it. Where is it? They got the sign up link somewhere. Yeah, put that little email up there. These are the same guys that make Ludus, which is what runs my home server. Great tool also. Alright, so this is actually one I've been really interested in. Because I've used Evil Jinx. I really like it. But now Kuba, Mr. Gretzky, has finally released Evil Jinx Pro. So I kind of queued this one up already to see what's kind of new in there. Let's see. So first thing he did is he implemented a client-server architecture. Before, Evil Jinx was really just a server with a CLI. It was just a singular program. But this says you would deploy the application onto an external server and control the server from the terminal using SSH to connect to a remote server. But Pro allows you to deploy a dedicated Evil Jinx server. Let's see. Oh, which works as a background daemon to start automatically on the server boot, and you can control and deploy multiple Evil Jinx servers straight from a single client. So that's pretty cool. And plus, you can run the terminal from whatever's convenient for you. One other thing he's added to this is he finally added an API. Oh, excuse me. So with the client-server architecture, Evil Jinx Pro, anyone can write their own tool instrumentation using the exposed API for the Evil Jinx instances. API is exposed via HTTPS, implements a stealth channel which cannot be interacted without knowing the internal secret host name of the API request handler. So the connection is additionally protected with a client certificate, allowing only legitimate and whitelisted Evil Jinx Pro users to connect to the API. That's pretty sweet. This was a highly requested feature. Actually, I want to say you could do wildcard search with the open source Evil Jinx. I don't recall. But anyway, so the biggest issue most red teams struggle with was the fact that once Evil Jinx obtained a TLS certificate, let me zoom in a little bit, the phishing hostname would immediately get listed in the public TLS transparency report database. So that resulted in dozens of security products immediately performing scans of the Evil Jinx server. looking for activity. This often resulted in the phishing server getting blacklisted before it could be even used in engagement. This is very true. This happened to me one time. Just once. So what I had started doing was when I requested those TLS certificates, you don't have to have TLS exposed out to the internet. So I would set the server up, I would get everything going. I only had port 80 exposed out to the internet because that's all you needed for Let's Encrypt to go out and talk and provision a certificate for you. So I would do that several days before an phishing engagement was supposed to start, ideally a week, and just let all that traffic get black hole because there's nothing there for it to touch. But I like this solution better because with a wildcard cert, they don't know what subdomain to or what hostname to scan. Let's see. EvilJinx Pro will now obtain a wildcard cert by default, which prevents the hostname of the phishing server from being fully exposed. Security products will be unable to scan the phishing server by looking for registered TLS certificates. Yep, pretty much. This is what I've been kind of interested in, the BotGuard. So we implemented BotGuard, which prevents security protocols from security products from accessing the phishing website, even if the hostname and full phishing URL are known. BotGuard uses multiple techniques combining JA4 signature fingerprinting and telemetry analysis retrieved from the client browser using JavaScript. These methods are used to determine if the phishing server was accessed by bots through automated means. This is something that I know Ku, because I mean, I don't know him, but we talked a little bit. And yeah, this is something he was real big on, were these JA4 signatures. Basically fingerprinting what's touching your server. Very cool. So basically what he did is he went through and he gathered a whole bunch of telemetry and metrics that said, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this stuff up and I'm going to purposefully solicit all those security products to hit me. He fingerprinted them and then set it up that way. Hey, Syke, thanks for hopping in for a sec, man. Okay. So if bot-like behavior is detected, EvilJinx Pro will display a spoofed website reverse proxied from an external URL predefined by the operator. That's pretty awesome. Now, this is also something I didn't know he was working on. So the fishlets are... the fishlets are basically the configuration and everything that says, hey, here's what this should look like. Here's how certain data transmits back and forth. Here's how you intercept it. Here's the calls that need to be passed. Things like that. Because in reality, when all that traffic is passing back and forth in the phishing server, you really just want to capture a few key pieces of data. You could capture it all, but really there's certain tokens that you want to capture, and that's what gets you to the point there. The whole idea of EvilJinx, if you've not seen it, is that you have a way for users to log in. It transparently proxies to whatever they're trying to log into. So it could be Okta, could be Azure, Office 365, whatever. And as that data is traveling back and forth, they even get the legit MFA prompts. So you can bypass MFA and just go straight to having a token or a set of tokens that you can use to log in as that user. It's not always cookies, but most of the time it's cookies. Let's see. So EvilJinx was always considered to be a phishing framework, which can be extended with fishlets to target specific websites. The open source version of the framework was made available without ready-to-use fishlets. This was made due to ethical reasons and not to make it too easy to use out of the box to wreak havoc by malicious actors. Since EvilJinx Pro is now made available only to vetted red team professionals, the risk of phishing framework misuse is much lower. Notice how he said lower, but not zero. So EvilJinx Pro now lets you access the community-curated database of ready-to-use fishlets to use in your next phishing engagement. Keep in mind, though, there's no guarantee that the fishlets will be constantly updated to work for the most recent versions. This is something that you actually run across quite a bit, is that a lot of times sites will just go change their authentication flow, and then you got to go rebuild your fishlet. The troubleshooting part of that, kind of the development, a little bit of debugging, R&D, that could be a little time consuming. Hey, spoiler, what's up, man? Valve updated their course to include phishing sections. Actually, yes, they did. I don't think it made this cut because I think they just released the news about that today. But we'll go actually, that's a good idea, spoiler. We'll go check that out after we finish up with this little blog post from Kuba. Let's see. Evil Puppet was another feature I was really looking forward to. So with the increasing number of defenses against phishing implemented by industry leaders, EvilJinx had to innovate to keep up with changing ecosystems. Websites will often gather telemetry metadata from the user's web browser to determine if the user is not the middle of getting phished by a malicious actor. Evil Puppet implements a web browser running on the EvilJinx server in the background to generate legitimate web browser telemetry, which can be extracted and injected into EvilJinx Pro's phishing sessions in real time during the phishing attack. So that's pretty cool. I was looking forward to seeing that. Essentially, what he's doing is he's got, I don't know if it's actually headless. I'm going to assume it's headless, but he's got a headless browser running in the backend and letting that generate all that legit traffic. And then he's man in the middling that too. Guy's just so damn smart. Really cool fellow. Let's see. So by default, apart from acting as an HTTP server, EvilJinx also acted as the name server. So listing on port 53 for DNS requests. I forgot about that because you had to impersonate so many subdomains sometimes because the authentication flow might hit 2, 3, 4, 5 different subdomains that get redirected. And so you had to man in the middle and rename and kind of redirect all those calls as they were happening. So EvilJinx used to be, it still is on the community server, had to be your DNS server as well. But this made EvilJinx fairly easy to detect, since if anyone investigated the name servers set up in the phishing domains registrar, they'd notice the phishing servers hosted in the same IP as the name server. It's kind of such. You don't typically have your DNS and your web server running at the same IP address. I kind of want to do a man-in-the-middle attack to learn about it. I want to see the hacker's point of view. Dude, you can. There were fishlets available for like Office 365, and there's ways to actually go through and you can set up EvilJinx SM, the free version, set it up internally in a little home lab. There's some hoops you got to jump through, but you can go through that process with it. And then basically what you do is you go log into some throwaway account that you make, and then you can go through the training process of like, oh, okay, cool. This is how this gets written in the fishlet. This is how we what tokens we kind of need to capture, this, that, and the other. Yeah, you can totally go through that exercise. In fact, I did that a lot just to when I was getting used to it. Let's see. Oh, red teams were able to mitigate this issue by using external DNS providers, but in doing so, they lost flexibility since all DNS records had to be managed manually and not through EvilJinx automation. Yeah. There are ways you could set up like DNS redirectors to kind of handle this, but it really was a pain. So the Pro version now retains that flexibility even when using external DNS providers. It can now be configured to manage DNS records externally through the API of supported third-party DNS providers. Yes, very nice. Let's see. Unlike the community version, EvilJinx Pro can now be configured to use more than one domain to run phishing campaigns. So you can now set a different base domain for each fishlet you want to use without the need to change your DNS servers. Very cool. That always was a bit of a pain. Each domain can also be set up with a different third-party DNS provider, whether it's internal or external. Let's see. JavaScript obfuscation. EvilJinx will often inject its own JavaScript code into the reverse proxy websites to manage redirects, gather botguard telemetry, or provide additional interaction with the viewed website through JavaScript injected from the fishlets. Yeah, that's actually a really cool feature. Injecting your own JavaScript in there. The injected code has been easily fingerprinted through static signatures, potentially resulting in reverse proxy websites being flagged. EvilJinx Pro will now automatically perform obfuscation of all the injected JavaScript using Obfuscator IO's engine, which runs locally. The result in JavaScript code taking different shapes every page load, making the code impossible to fingerprint. It does get impossible to fingerprint. However, if you start seeing blobs of code and otherwise like non-blobby code, there are ways to fingerprint that. It's just, it's not going to be blatant, right? Hey, Simply, what's up, man? Are you planning to go to Black Hat this time? I do not currently have any plans to go to Black Hat. Only chance I would probably go to Black Hat this year is if my company needed trainers for Black Hat courses, but I believe they've got that all covered. And so, and plus, as far as like kind of like the evolution of being on the training team, I'm still pretty low in that process. My focus right now for like the first year is just to become better at operating and then eventually leading assessments. That's what me and my manager have talked about. I'm used to leading assessments, but this is a different company. They have different ways of doing it. So I was like, yeah, sure. I will totally take a step back and learn this way to properly do it, execute it, and then start working towards that. Now, I don't think I'm even going to be in Vegas this year, man. And it's kind of sucks because I was looking at the price for DEF CON, and I was like, shit, my first DEF CON was in 2010. Yeah, it was in 2010. And I was thinking about it. I was like, shit, man. 2010 Blaze, if he was teleported to 2015 in the exact same circumstances, couldn't afford to go to 2025 DEF CON. 200, because it's a $200 difference. It used to be $300 for a badge, and now it's like $500, $550. Yeah, they do pay for your Black Hat does pay for the airfare and hotel during the conference. That's actually what they did for me last time when I was last class I taught there. It was the only one I got to teach in person. The rest were all virtual. But yeah, they paid for my flight and my hotel. It was really cool of them. Tyler, what's up, man? Max Smartaboo. What's up, brother? Hold on. Gotta give my man a shout out. What's up, dude? By the way, guys, if you have not seen Hacksmarter, he's an awesome guy. Totally great. My man Tyler Ramsby. What you up to tonight, man? The hacking robot has gone through several rewrite iterations so far, Tyler, and actually it's getting up there where finally I think the very basic version of the recon leg is done. So depending on how long the news takes, we might work on it a little bit tonight. There's a bug I've got to go fix. There's this tiny logic bug. It gets stuck in a loop when it's executing the what's it called? When it's executing the recon graph, it gets stuck in a loop. And so that was the last thing I messed with it on Sunday. I did an extra long stream on Sunday because I had missed Saturday and Tuesday because of my back problem. So I'm happy to be back on news night again. I went to DEF CON 25 and I think it was 270 or so. I think by DEF CON 25 it was 300, I want to say. Because the one I went to was DEF CON 19 and it was 300. I'm fairly certain. But also, DEF CON is just freaking huge. It's like 30,000, mouth-breathing, sweaty hackers all in one convention center. I got a dilemma. I've been speaking at kernel conferences and have Linux security conferences, and Black Hat, not sure where to go. Black Hat pays for my airfare, hotel, and food. I'm in. Yeah. I think if you want to get in on that, Sin, keep a close eye on their call for papers. I don't remember actually when they do call for papers for Black Hat. They do call for trainings, I want to say in December. It's either very late November or early December. It's right around that time frame because it always sucked. My team was always slammed with end of year crunch. Every security team gets that. And that's what happened to us. And so I was constantly struggling doing red team shit and trying to write the proposal for the training. Oh, the CFP is up now until... Okay, cool. All the cons have to be in Vegas in August for two reasons. One, there's lots of easy ways to get flights to Vegas. Two, they choose August because it is hotter than Satan's butthole and no one else wants to go there in August. Actually, I think originally, if I remember right, for DEF CON, I think they wanted to hold it someplace else, but nobody was willing to host a hacker convention. But Vegas said, yeah, sure, dude, you're like the most tame of some of the stuff we host. Yeah. Hotter than Satan's butthole on spicy burrito night. Yes. Let's see. All right, so back to Evil Jinx Pro. Let's see. Evil Jinx Pro provides a straightforward way to deploy a new phishing server by issuing a single command. You only need to provide the server's IP address and root credentials. Nice. That's pretty sweet. Awesome. I love the automated deployment too, because setting that up sometimes could be a bit of a pain. Let's see. The Pro server detects either a client request or a URL which is not a valid phishing lure. Oh, hold on, let me go back to this. Website spoofing. So when Evil Jinx Pro detects either a client requesting a URL which is not a valid phishing lure, or determines the connection is made by automated software, it will not redirect the visitor to an external website anymore, but render another website's content in the context of the current one. Sweet. This provides better phishing anti-detection capabilities, gives the impression that a legitimate website is being hosted under the phishing URL. Love that. You okay, Peaches? Poor puppy, she got a snort stuck in her snout. My plan is to go there and bust ass of WireGuard, kernel overlay WireGuard driver, and sliver emulation tunnels in the kernel at Black the Hat. But nice. I need food and goodies though. If I could help you out with that, brother, I would. All right. So I think that's about it. Oh, actually, there's one more thing. So SQLite. Data store for Evil Jinx data is now completely been revamped. Pro no longer uses the BuntDB text file storage. God, that was annoying. Now it uses a SQLite database for speed. Nice. They gave a free hoodie. Yeah, but it won't be as cool as Tyler's hoodies. With a black hoodie on, black hoodie on. All right. For my red teamy folks out here, Fortra, your site kills me. Ah, so much better. All right. So there was a big update to Cobalt Strike 4.11. So one of the things they did is they overhauled the evasion mechanics a bit here. Let's see. They added a novel sleep mask which automatically enabled via the Malleable C2. Cobalt Strike's previous evasive sleep had been available in the Arsenal kit, but it was based on a modified open source technique, required a significant amount of customization to use with Beacon. So we felt that runtime masking is essential in modern operations, which is why we wanted to update and improve it with something new and novel. So the new evasive sleep mask will obfuscate Beacon, its heap allocations, and itself. Ooh, nice. Meaning Beacon's robust against static signatures at runtime. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty cool. You can, of course, still use the evasive sleep in the Arsenal kit or build your own sleep mask if desired. We added a novel process injection technique, which is now the default injection method used by Beacon as of 4.11. So injected threads are one of the pillars of modern detection and can be identified with high fidelity by simply looking for the threads. Let's see. However, there's still many ways to bypass this approach, such as using various gadgets to redirect execution flow, meaning that EDR vendors typically have advanced logic to identify this type of behavior. So in Cobalt Strike 4.11, we added our own custom process injection technique, which is the offset thread context. So in the following screenshot, we use the offset thread context to inject a beacon into a remote process. So when we scan the process with get injected thread X, and observe that no suspicious threads have been identified. Oh, really? Oh, let me look at this. So they injected into 47020 an HTTP beacon. We see we've got two here. So this was the one that was injected to. This was the one that spawned because of it. What is this? I've never seen this tool before. Get injected thread X. What is this? Let's see. Scans all running threads looking for suspicious. I can't talk. Suspicious Win32 start addresses. Cool. Okay. Neat. Look at that in just a minute. Let's see here. So by default, the new option will automatically set the injected thread start address as the legitimate remote image entry point, but can be additionally configured as shown below. Cool. The option above sets the offset thread context as the default process injection technique and will ensure that all new threads are spawned at the exported NTDLL function. That's pretty cool. I like, daddy likes. Third, we ported Beacon's default reflective loader over to a new prepend/SRDI style loader that added several new evasive features. So there's new bypass options which could be used to bypass security solutions that use export address filtering, support for indirect syscalls, support for automatically applying complex obfuscation routines to beacons payloads. Neat. We previously blogged about creating custom obfuscation loaders for Beacon. This work was initially inspired by Hasherzade's blog on custom PE formats and the Elastic Security blog on Blister Loader. That one uses a compression and encryption to add layers of obfuscation. Nice. Although the bad thing about this is, believe it or not, compression really is just a type of encryption. Don't get me started on it. But when you do that, though, you increase the entropy of something a lot. So entropy analysis, I think, is going to become really important in the future because of that. It's still important now, but it's considered like a fallback if all the other detections don't happen. It's like, hey, manually go run the entropy analysis. Let's see. Transform Obfuscate abstracts these ideas and enables Cobalt Strike users to automatically apply complex obfuscation routines to beacon payloads. In this sense, it's analogous to the Transform's malleable C2 support on Beacon's network comms. Let's see. For example, the Transform Obfuscate option below will compress a beacon payload, RC4 encrypt it with a random 64-bit key, XOR it with a random 32-bit key, and then base 64 encode it. I like that. That's pretty cool. I like that you can say, hey, bam, 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 here's what I want you to do. Okay. That's cool. So these transformation rules can be applied in any order and specified more than once. So for example, if you want to emulate the Rushjack malware, you could add 14 different transforms. Oh, there's a little note here. Extensive transforms can add slight delays to payload generation, as Cobalt Strike will need to compress a payload potentially multiple times. Well, duh. So additionally, this reflective loader overhaul allows us to make several improvements to Cobalt Strike's existing malleable C2 options. For example, it allows us to decouple the stage obfuscate from controlling whether the PE header is copied into memory as part of the reflective loading beacon. This can now be configured via the option, long name option. Lastly, beacon is now robust against static signatures out of the box at all stages of the chain. So these are now enabled by default. The sleep mask is true, the cleanup is true, and the transform obfuscate XOR 32. Cool. So if you want to disable Cobalt Strike's automatic XORing of the entire beacon payload with a random key, you can set that to null. So but hold on, there's another note here. So as of 4.11, Beacon will now use prepend loader by default. So the legacy stomp export reflective loader is still being supported at 4.11, and if you still want that behavior, you can manually turn it on. However, we recommend against using it as we're ending support for the stomp loader in 4.12. This is actually something I was really curious about. I want to know what they're going to do with asynchronous. These are beacon object files here. Hang on one second. My mustache keeps getting in my mouth. I'm trying to grow the mustache out, and it keeps getting in my damn mouth because I'm trying to I'm going to see. I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a couple months. I'm going to see if I can get the handlebar. I can't currently do a handlebar. But to do that, I got to let it grow out. It's annoying. All right, so asynchronous beacon object files. We added a new postx DLL, which is the async execute DLL, which can be used to asynchronously execute beacon object files in a new thread while the beacon is sleeping. That's sick. This means that operators can now run multiple BOFs at the same time and within the same process without blocking beacon. Cool. What they're talking about here, if you're not familiar with this, so a beacon object file is supposed to be a standalone chunk of code that you could send. It would get loaded into memory and then executed and then basically dumped from the beacon. So you had extensibility to be able to run these different pieces of code directly inside the process memory. You didn't have to fork a new process. You didn't have to go inject it somewhere else and try to get it to run. It all ran inside. However, when you did that, the process is like going down, executing instructions one after the other, and then it would then jump to the beacon object file, the BOF, or boof, whatever you want, however you want to say it, the buff. People say it all sorts of ways. But once it gets over to it, then it starts executing there. Well, now the core functionality, even though it's in the same process, memory, scope, process thread, everything, is over here. So it has blocked the execution of beacon here, while this code over here is executing. Now what they're saying is, it's not going to. They're going to be running somehow in their own context. This would be, I'm going to see how they're doing this. All right, so the PostX DLL operates in two modes. Single shot. So a single BOF will be executed asynchronously, and the async execute PostX DLL will immediately exit. In the background, the async execute PostX DLL will act as a server and repeatedly execute all BOFs sent to it. I wonder how this was implemented. So each asynchronous BOF will run on its own job, and its specific output can be viewed in the Jobs console window at the Cobalt Strike GUI. Additionally, async execute honors the process injection BOF allocator write methods, supports indirect syscalls, and will automatically free itself from memory on termination. We'll see up the demo. The majority of Beacon C API is supported, so most BOFs will run without requiring any modification. However, there are some APIs which are not supported for obvious reasons, like the Beacon Data Store APIs. So check the README file, basically RTFM. It's important to stress that the async execute was written entirely with the PostX kit. This is why you will find the compiled DLL in the Arsenal kit. Let's see. We added it to the PostX kit as an example to demonstrate the power of extensibility of the PostX kit for developing custom long-time running jobs. So to support async execute, we have added a new aggressor function called breadpipe. This allows you to register a custom job via reading from a specified name pipe and gives greater flexibility when writing custom tooling. Very cool. All right, what else? Let's see. Additionally, we hope to demonstrate that this, with this example, that all Cobalt Strike users have all the tools to be Cobalt Strike developers. As this release shows, we are committed to adding novel evasion into Cobalt Strike. But if you still don't like Cobalt Strike's default options, you'll always have scope to customize the product to your liking. So you can effectively add your own malleable C2 options for reflective loading via the aggressor scripts. If you have a great idea for a new post-exploitation capability, the PostX kit makes it possible to integrate custom tradecraft directly into Cobalt Strike. Neat. Let's see. Furthermore, with UDRL VS, Sleep Mask VS, or BOF VS, and the PostX kit, you have access to the same tooling that the Cobalt Strike developers use and can integrate custom tradecraft into the Cobalt Strike ecosystem at all stages of the attack. Nice. Let's see. Oh, what do we have here? Stealthy network comms with DNS over HTTPS beacons. We got the dough. They're bringing the dough. I don't think we'll read too much on that. That seems pretty self-explanatory. By the way, if you don't know what that is, it was a workaround for people that were doing stuff like I do, which is DNS filtering to block ad blockers and other stuff like that. And what they're doing is companies that don't allow outbound DNS, a lot of times they allow outbound HTTPS. So they're just packaging DNS inside of HTTPS requests. Let's see what else we got going on here with Cobalt Strike. A lot of miscellaneous stuff. But cool. I hadn't seen a good Cobalt Strike update in a while. Alright. Let's take a look at this one. Password reuse is rampant. Nearly half of observed user logins are compromised. So no surprise here, the odds of your universal passwords being stuffed is much higher than a hacker exfiltrating your password manager database, which is why we continue to push for password managers and multi-factor authentication, with hardware tokens being the best. Alright, so this is from Cloudflare. Oh, why did you... Oh, it's a terrible read. Just because the color they chose, this is terrible. Let's see. Accessing private content online, whether it's checking email or streaming your favorite show, almost always starts with the login step. Beneath that everyday task lies a widespread human mistake we still haven't solved, which is password reuse. Many users recycle passwords across multiple services, creating a ripple effect of risk when their credentials are leaked. So based on Cloudflare's observed traffic between September to November of 2024, 41% of successful logins across websites protected by Cloudflare involved compromised credentials. Hang on one sec, guys. I'll be right back. All right. I want to know how they classify this, though. Compromised passwords. But we'll get to that. I'm probably jumping ahead here. So we're going to explore the widespread impact of password reuse, focusing on how it affects popular CMSs and the behavior of bots versus humans in login attempts. Let's see. Scope of the analysis. So as part of the application security offering, we offer a free feature that checks if passwords have been leaked in known data breaches of another service or application on the internet. So when we perform these checks, Cloudflare does not access or store plain text end-user passwords. We built a privacy-preserving credential checking service that helps protect our users from compromised credentials. I'm sure they have, but that's just a fancy way of saying, hey, we got all the passwords and we hashed them so that way we're not just storing them in plain text, because why would we? Because everybody else is doing it that's nefarious and has access to these databases. Or is a legit security researcher. So this, let's see, passwords are hashed, converted into random string characters using cryptographic algorithms for the purpose of comparing them against the database of linked credentials. Yeah. So this not only warns site owners that their end users' credentials may be compromised, but also allows site owners to issue a password reset or enable MFA. Yeah, but the problem is, this is what I thought they were going to be getting into, is that, yeah, there's a shit ton of passwords that are leaked out there in databases. Yeah, because a lot of databases were incorrectly done, or people have had a lot of time to go through and try and crack those passwords. So yeah, there's a lot of plain text passwords out there on the internet. Dude, every fucking book is a plain text password. You're gonna start saying you can't use, like, anything as part of it? Come on. That's kind of what I was worried about, is that that's what they were gonna fall back to, is like, hey, we noticed that you've got password reuse. Well, sometimes I don't give a shit about the website, and I don't care. It has zero impact on anything if that account gets compromised. But I digress. All right. Let's see. So this says nearly 41% of logins are at risk. So one of the biggest challenges in authentication is distinguishing between legitimate human users and malicious actors. To understand human behavior, we focus on successful login attempts, which those return 200, status OK, as it provides the clearest indication of the user activity. So our data reveals that approximately 41% of successful human authentication attempts involved leaked credentials. So despite growing awareness about online security, a significant portion of users continue to reuse passwords across multiple accounts. All right, I'm going to take issue with this. Let's look at these two statements back to back. Our data reveals that approximately 41% of successful human authentication attempts involved leaked credentials. All right. There's some verbiage overload there, but let's just take that at face value. They're saying 41% of passwords that were observed were found in a breach database. That's what they mean, even if that's not what they said. That's what they mean. So despite our awareness about online security, a significant portion of users continue to reuse passwords across multiple accounts. Counterpoint. People are using passwords in different areas, or they just have similar things. I don't think this 41% value is probably not as high as what they observed. Plus, there's also going to be an element of deduplication in here. How many times was somebody or different accounts logging in, things like that? It's probably not that much lower than 41% as I think about it. I think about the general population. If I had to take a swag at this number, 41%, I'd say it's probably closer to 33%. And that's just because it seems to be at least a third of people just absolutely don't know or don't give a shit about cybersecurity. That's just my informal that is just my informal take on talking about the general public of it. All right. Let's see. Attackers heavily use leaked password data sets. So bots are a driving force behind credential stuffing attacks. Data indicates that 95% of login attempts involving leaked passwords are coming from bots, indicating they're part of a credential stuffing attack. Now, they're making a little bit of an equivalency here. They're saying that password reuse is instantly going to lead to credential stuffing. It doesn't always. Yeah, a lot of times it can, especially if the user's not aware that their particular username and password combination has been leaked out onto the internet. And yeah, Ashley Madison was a prime example of that. Equipped with credentials stolen from breaches, bots systematically target websites at scale, targeting thousands of login combinations in seconds. Yeah. And again, that is why you should be using some kind of password manager. Hacker Witch. Hacker Witch with that beautiful dial tone. Thanks for coming online. Welcome in. Let's see. All right, what else we got going on here? Yeah, they talk about brute forcing with those credentials. Brute forcing with those credentials is not usually all that handy, but with the credentials themselves. So this is actually one of the things that was kind of bugging me about this. So up here they're saying, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Data revealed that approximately 41% of successful human authentication attempts involved leaked credentials. Okay, that just means 41% of those passwords were in that. Okay, let's just surmise here. If you have somebody who sucks at building a password, and they go and make a new password for whatever reason, or maybe they actually are using different passwords, their additional passwords are probably going to suck as well. That's just what I'm saying here. So just because sucky password A and sucky password B and sucky password C are all sucky and they exist in a breach database does not instantly lead to, hey, you're going to get popped. There's a lot more that kind of goes into it. Oh, awesome. Hey, Bale, what's up, man? Hacker Witch, hold on. I can see you. I want to see. Where's my... What are you working on? Let's go see. I'm gonna creep on you. Doing JavaScript. I'm gonna set her a follow. To be fair, hey, you're gonna get hacked. It's pretty universally true in 2025, right? Yeah. Oh, actually, I might need to talk to her because I just noticed that she's got her chat combined, which is what I want to do. All right, I'm gonna go bug her later. Anyway, I think I'm just about done on this article though, because yeah, we all know the worries about credential stuffing. People should be using MFA. And then pretty much this is the plug for Cloudflare stuff. I was hoping there's going to be more to it than that. All right, this one actually caught my interest. AI-assisted fake GitHub repositories fuels SmartLoader and LumaStealer distribution. Fake GitHub repositories are looking more and more legitimate thanks to AI. The campaign was using game cheats and cracked software. Guys, game cheats are always malware. Always. I told you knew how to multi-stream, so I think she was going to ask you. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I mean, I was looking at her stream pale, and she's got what is it? Well, I gotta pull her stream back up. But I saw like Twitch and YouTube up in there in her chat, so she's at least multi-streaming somewhere. So anyway, let me go take a quick look at this one. I'm curious what they're talking about with this one. I think we actually may have already kind of discussed this the other night. Cybercriminals using fake GitHub repositories to make heavy use of AI for its lures to distribute malware, deceiving users with seemingly legitimate tools while evading detection. The Trend Micro threat hunting team identified an ongoing campaign that uses these repositories to deploy SmartLoader, which is then subsequently used to deliver other malware as a service, or malware such as LumaStealer. Let's see. These malicious repositories are disguised as non-malicious tools, including game cheats, cracked software, and cryptocurrency utilities. I'm trying not to drop the F-bomb right now. Non-malicious tools. If you're doing shady shit, I'm not saying cryptocurrency is shady, but there's not a lot of cryptocurrency utilities you should be getting off of GitHub. Just saying. If you're doing shady stuff, you gotta be shady aware, bro. Campaign entices victims with promises of free or illicit unauthorized functionality, prompting them to download zip files. Upon execution, the files deploy SmartLoader, which ultimately facilitates the delivery of the LumaStealer. I need to go onto GitHub to download more RAM. Damn it, app. What's up, man? YouTube has like a 30-second chat delay. It does, Pale. There's nothing you can do about it. It is like hard baked into YouTube. It's freaking annoying. That's why I usually tell folks like, hey, if you want to watch on YouTube, you're more than welcome to. I still read everything that comes through on YouTube and I chat back and forth. You just got to be patient with me. There's nothing I can do about it. YouTube, in my opinion, is not nearly as good as Twitch for live interaction. It's mostly for archive. And so if people want to go back and they want to rewatch something, or hell, I get a lot of folks that are in weird time zones. They want to come watch the channel. So I'm streaming at like the middle of the night where they are. They want to come in and watch it in the afternoon, like during their chill out time. It's like, dude, fucking do it. Makes me happy. I got an email, so I won something. Woo! Yeah, all right. I'm not saying cryptocurrency is shady. Well, I'm saying cryptocurrency is shady. Cryptocurrency by itself is not shady. However, a lot of shady people do use cryptocurrency. There's a little bit of, unfortunately, guilt by juxtaposition when it comes to, or association when it comes to cryptocurrencies. And so if you're downloading something that's like, hey, here's how you get free crypto. Transition to Twitch. APT, dude, if you want to watch on YouTube, you are totally welcome to, man. I see your messages come up. It's just, I answer them as close to real time as I can get, which is like a 20 or 30 second hard baked in delay. Whatever works for you, man. I'm here for you. Help me help you. Show me the 0 days. Sorry, that's an old movie reference. I don't know how many of y'all are gonna get. Hey, Mario, what's up, bro? But when it comes to firewalls and remote access to things, other than using default services like SSH, SMB, and so on, how do you overcome firewalls? Pretty much you got to find yourself a way to pivot through those, Oreo. So usually, I mean, 9 times out of 10, the biggest firewall you're going to come across is NAT, believe it or not. Oh, dang it, I didn't bring up the iPad. Hang on one sec. By the way, I did finally get a new mouse. I got it like a couple weeks ago, but thank you to everybody who made mouse suggestions. I ended up going with the Logitech MX Master 3S, and it has been working fantastic. Until the batteries die in the middle of a stream sometime, then I'm going to be like, this thing's a piece of shit. Let me bring this up real quick. All right, so honestly, the number one thing you're going to run into when it comes to firewalls is just going to be NAT, honestly. Because let's say like you're Mr. Attacker Man out here, right? And you got your C2 server. You got your good old interwebs cloud out here, right? And then you've got the corporate environment kind of behind its router, right? That router's running network address translation. So as you're connected to these things, there's usually no direct path through this firewall into something. Web servers for the company, they're usually down here. They're in a completely different environment, right? These two usually don't even cross each other. The corporate environment doesn't typically host web servers anymore. They just don't. So once you get in there, you got to have some way to get into that system. So let's say you land on some box over here. So let's say this is our victim box. I'm gonna color it red. So you land on that one. It's going to come back through because NAT pretty much is a one-way door for the most part. Conversations has to be initiated from inside the network. Once you get that up and running, and you can get it to call back to your C2, then you've got a two-way channel there that's traversing that NAT or that firewall. And it could be over a lot of things. It could be over, hell, just HTTP. Looks like web bug traffic. You could have HTTPS. You could have DNS. Now with Cobalt Strike, you can do DNS over HTTP on here. So you can have all these different transport layers kind of carrying your stuff with this. Then, after that point, it's just going to be a matter of, I say just, easy to say, sometimes hard to do. But then you've got another victim that you want to go infect, right? So then how do you get to them? Well, you pivot with something else. Maybe then, once you're on the internal network, you start using something like SMB up here as your pivoting protocol. Can't think. Dude, I'm a Mythic fanboy too. We're gonna have some Mythic work coming down the pipe, because I think pretty soon on Hack the Bot, we're gonna get through the once the recon graph portion of Hack the Bot is done, then all the other portions are gonna start kind of falling into line, and we're gonna have a very base framework of them. Once those are completed, then we're gonna get to the post-X stuff and the exploitation part pretty quick. Once we get to post-X, we're going to have to stand up Mythic and start messing with Mythic scripting so that we can interact with it. Funny you should ask, Oreo. Mythic is technically not GUI only. There actually is an API that you can interact with, and that's what we're going to be messing with. But yeah, believe it or not, NAT is the number one way that you're going to... number one thing keeping people out of environments these days. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what else they're doing with these. I actually read a little bit about this, and these malware campaigns actually were doing some really neat shuffling on the GitHub side to make it look a little less sketch, but it was funny. Let's see. The initial lure. So malware campaign begins with a fake GitHub repo designed to appear legitimate, often mimicking popular tools, by exploiting GitHub's trusted relationship. That's the problem right there. Don't go trusting random shit you find on GitHub. Attackers deceive users into downloading malicious files. The malicious actors use AI to generate convincing README files and documentation, making these repositories appear professional and authentic, which increases the likelihood they can be trusted. Dude, no. The fake repositories stand out due to the formatting of the README content, which appears to be heavily assisted by AIs exhibited by telltale signs such as excessive emoji usage. Really? Because I see this shit all the time in like a lot of GitHub repos that I know are legit. The repository contains only a README file, and all the hyperlinks redirect to malicious files that are strategically concealed in the release section, making them less conspicuous to unsuspecting users. Unsuspecting indeed. This is low-hanging fruit hacking they're going for here. Let's see. I basically want to figure out how to modify Sliver C2 so I don't need another third-party tool. Adding some basic DLLs to another tool and basically confuse myself again in the process. Part of the game, Mario brother. What's your thought on Merlin C2? Remembered it wasn't heavily, or it hasn't really been played around with, but I saw it can go into Mythic. Well, that's because Cody, the guy who wrote Mythic, and I'm probably going to try and get him back on the stream too, when we start going into like the Mythic scripting, just as like a fun little, hey, let's talk to him, ask questions, whatever. His whole job is to try and just subsume every other C2 into Mythic. I think you can successfully like convert Cobalt Strike and what was the other one? I dropped an F-bomb, damn it. I would say Cobalt Strike and Metasploit, they'll be absorbed into Mythic. I forget how you do it, but I know he's done it. All code is trustworthy. Don't discriminate. Signed, Russia. Yeah, right. No, it's okay. You trust code. Code extra special double good. Let's see. All right. I think I'm probably going to skip over this because now they're getting into like the actual things. I'm more interested in what was their lure context. And the lure context was people trusting GitHub. Bro, no. Don't trust GitHub. Don't run code from GitHub. If you're going to run code, RTFC that. It needs to be a damn popular repository for me to trust it if it's up on GitHub. Stuff on the level with like LangChain and LangGraph. And if it's too big for me to read it, then I'm not going to use it until I have a lot of time to go through it. Let's see. What's the next one here? Oh, so GSMA's RCS Universal Profile Specifications. End-to-end encryption is coming cross-platform messaging for Android and Apple by default. More encryption is always a good thing. Dude, I'll tell you one thing. I think Apple missed a golden opportunity. They could have been getting money from everybody on Android. And I'll tell you why. I would have paid for iCloud access to be able to have messages running on my Android. If I had to pay for iCloud, I totally would have done that. Just so I could have used some of the features for iMessage with my wife from my Android phone. I totally would have done that. Let's see. Android's Linux Terminal app is now widely available on Pixels. Here's how to get it. Really? Hold on. So they're actually providing a terminal app now? Nice. I mean, there's ways to get that anyway, but... Google's preparing a native Linux terminal application that would allow smartphone users to carry portable versions of a desktop distro with them. Since then, we've seen that very app roll out to the Android 15 beta builds. Now, in March 2025 Pixel update, stable version of the app is available more widely for Google phone users. Oh, cool. I have an older Pixel, so I wonder if it's available to me. Oh, I can't stand like that. Hold on. Gotta shuffle. How's that different from Termux? It's official. I'm pretty sure that's it, Oreo. It's the official Linux terminal. Let's see. And it's 567 megs? Good freaking God. Let's see. First time I tried to run the terminal on my Pixel 8, it failed. Worked the second time. After crushing a speed bump, I was able to get the terminal open by tapping a shortcut in my app list. Okay. Is it doing anything useful, or is it just, hey, we have a terminal app now? That's it. That's it. Okay. That was... Oh, what is this? First off, this was written by AI. Look at that. Notably. Linux environment is based on Debian, one of the most established Linux distros. Unlike the native terminal app like Termux, Linux terminal runs in a virtual machine via the Android virtualization framework. Oh, okay. The Linux terminal app is devoid of a few features. GUI app support is perhaps the biggest shortcoming, but as our highly entertaining Doom demo suggests, this functionality is planned for Android 16. Okay. I mean, neat, but I don't have a big use case for that. Maybe I just don't do enough on my phone. Maybe that's it. All right, I'm gonna let the ads chill out for just a second, and then I really want to go into this one because this is a crazy story. It's got a lot of twists and turns. I've been losing my mind over trying to get Cave, the audio music tool, on Termux to see the system audio so it actually works. Oh, bummer. I miss the news streams, yo. I feel like this kind of helps keep me up to date because it's very easy to just lose the news in the daily grind of it. And again, shout out to the guys over at Bad Sector Labs for putting it together because I think they have one of the best like weekly wrap up news blogs in the entire world. It's great. Usually just use my phone to help back up media on the go. Made a video about that setup. Dude, link it over here, Oreo, because I haven't seen that. I want to go check it out. Link me, bro. Oh, this one's interesting. I can't wait to get into this one. Bypassing SAML SSO authentication with parser differentials? What the hell that is? Let's see. Ruby SAML, used in popular Ruby-based projects like GitLab, uses two different XML parsers by exploiting differences in how they process XML. An attacker in possession of a valid signed assertion for any user can fabricate assertions and impersonate any other user. Oh, rip. Okay. Dude, Oreo, I just want you to know, I freaking love the art in your videos, by the way. This makes me happy. This sparks joy. Every time. I'm going to throw you a sub on here because that's on a different account. I have you on my personal account, but that was the BlazeBits account. All right, so let's look at this. Lawsuit alleges $12 billion unicorn deal cultivated a spy, orchestrated long-running trade secrets theft, and corporate espionage against competitor. Some serious insider threat allegations. PDF complaints worth a read. Bravo to the rippling general counsel for signing off on this, and the security team for pulling it off. Yeah. They set up a A very classic muddying the waters honeypot for this guy, and he ate it. He ate it like he was coming out of the desert and had been there for 40 days. Hey, Snipe, what's up, man? I know there's many resources, but what do you recommend for beginner for Python learning? Um, what was that site? Um, if you like book learning, there's automate the boring stuff with Python. For beginner, just go assembly. APT, stop it. Stop it. Don't listen to this man. He's king troll. Automate the boring stuff with Python is a great book series, or a great book in general, just to get you a very basic familiarity with Python. There is, damn, what was that? Shoot. I'm trying to remember what it was. There was a really great one that was like it was an introductory Python course. I know there's a shit ton of them. What was it? Was it Code? I mean, Code Camp, I think, is one, but I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of. Was this the one? I don't think so. It doesn't look familiar. No, that's not the one I was thinking of. That's the Pwn College way. Just start with assembly. Wait, Cisco has a Python course? Okay, Cypher, I'll give you this. There's one good thing about starting with assembly as your first language, is that everything else will seem so damn easy by comparison. Just saying. What is it called? Interactive Python learning. What's that damn thing called? Was it Code Academy? No, it wasn't Code Academy. I don't remember what it is. But Snipet, what I would recommend though is, or Sinpet, look for a couple of ones. No, I had it right. Snipet, just slightly dyslexic. Look for some that allow for like small iterative like interactions with it. Stuff that's going to be like, heck, even look for ones for kids. And that might seem crazy, but in terms of coding, you're like on a kid level, right? It is like learning a new language. And sometimes learning a language the way a kid would learn it through small bits and chunks that you can then form together is very helpful. That's kind of the way I like to do it. I know it should be Sinpen, but I see Snipe Head and I was like, okay, that's right. It's a sniper. Ew. See, I called it. Snipe it. Boom. Let's see. That's not what I was thinking of. I'm trying to remember which one it is. There are a ton on here. Wait, is it Pi Challenger? Is this the one I was thinking of? Let me see. Run my code. Oh no, it's broken. Actually, yeah, this one actually looks like it might be. I haven't used this one before, Snipe It, but check this one out. That might be a good introduction. It looks like it's doing something very similar to what I was thinking of, where, hey, it's walking you through the various pieces of it. Okay, let's head back over to this story here, because this one I've been actually really excited to cover. I checked the email for the blog this morning to make sure it was in here before we covered it tonight. Otherwise, I was going to go grab a copy. All right. So Deals, we have two actors here. We've got a company named Deal. This one right here. Deal is the what is it? The defendant in this case. They're the ones that are alleged to have had this corporate spy. And then Rippling was the one that was being spied on. These are both kind of companies in kind of the HR space, if I remember correctly. They work on helping onboard new employees to your company, handling some stuff like that. So they've been kind of in a battle back and forth. So Deal's alleged. This is the head. There's like the subheading right here, and I'm actually going to skip over that because I think they're going to cover it later. But it's hilarious. Deal, a $12 billion unicorn company. That means it's a private company valued at more than $1 billion, and it's not publicly traded, it's private. Orchestrated a multi-month campaign to steal a competitor's confidential business information with help from a corporate spy, according to a lawsuit filed today in the Northern District of California. The lawsuit alleges Deal cultivated a Rippling employee to conduct thousands of suspicious searches and funnel stolen confidential business intelligence directly back to Deal. Deal's agent used Rippling systems to spy on Deal's own customers, who were discussing a switch to Rippling away from Deal. The spy searched the term Deal in the competitor's system on average 23 times a day over 4 months. This allowed the spy to comprehensively capture every detail of Rippling's sales pipeline competing with Deal, including proposed pricing, details of sales meetings, and conversations between Rippling and prospective customers evaluating a switch away from Deal, and training materials for Rippling sales organizations on how to compete against Deal. So, first thing I'm going to notice here is that Rippling, you need to work on your least privileges, bro. This is stuff like, unless this person was in the sales pipeline, they shouldn't have had access to this kind of sales information. Now, we can't say that for certain because I don't think they go into great detail about what this corporate spy was doing or what role they had in the company. I'm just saying, that's something they could have done to help prevent this. After Rippling's security team detected the spy's unusual systems activity, Rippling set a honeypot for Deal's senior leadership to conclusively prove their involvement. Rippling crafted a letter that referenced an empty Slack channel in Rippling's corporate Slack instance called Defectors, and implied the Slack channel contained messages that would be of interest to Deal. The letter was sent to only 3 people: Philip Bowses, the chairman of Deal's board, CFO, general counsel, and the father of Deal, CEO Alex Bowses. Oh, so we got the Bowses brothers. Spears Cummins, Deal's head of U.S. legal and the company's outside counsel law firm. So within hours of sending the letter, Deal's spy inside of Rippling searched for the first time for this empty and never before used Slack channel, proving that Deal's top executives or its legal representatives were running the covert espionage operation. Hook, line, and sinker. The lawsuit describes in vivid details how the alleged spy, when confronted last Friday at Rippling's Dublin office with a court order to hand over his phone, fled to the bathroom and locked the door. When repeatedly warned not to delete materials from his device and that his noncompliance would result in jail time, the spy responded, "I'm willing to take that risk," and then fled the premises. According to the lawsuit, Deal's spy spent over 4 months obsessively and systematically accessing Slack channels where he had no legitimate business interest. He searched Slack more than 6,000 times, allegedly swiping confidential sales pipeline data and internal customer interactions. Armed with that stolen information, Deal allegedly obtained an unfair and illegal advantage. 2, intercept and counter Rippling sales efforts by learning which customers Rippling was pitching in real time, preemptively retain customers who were considering switching from Deal to Rippling, poaching Rippling employees by using stolen contact details, including private phone numbers, to aggressively recruit them, sometimes making offers without even interviewing the candidate. Distort media narratives by misusing confidential Rippling information to counter negative press about Deal's own misconduct. The evidence in this case is undeniable. The highest levels of Deal's leadership are implicated in a brazen corporate espionage scheme, and they will be held accountable. Because you have to remember, what happened? Who did they send that notice to? Where was it? Yeah. So the letter mentioning the Slack instance here was only sent to the chairman of the board, the CFO, general counsel, and who is this? The father of Deal, the CEO. And also sent to their legal counsel. Ooh, rip. So it's a pretty good bait and switch there. Or I guess not a bait and switch. What is that? It'd be like a honeypot almost. Except a honeypot is really more like you said there. This is more like muddying the waters. I don't know, what is it? What do they call it? Like a colored water attack, right? You put dye into water so you can see where it's dripping out. That's essentially what they did. They put dye in the water and they see where it leaked out. Let's see. So we're all for healthy competition, but we won't tolerate a competitor breaking the laws, said Vanessa Wu, general counsel for Rippling. The scale of the corporate espionage is breathtaking, permeating their sales, marketing, recruiting, and even communications operations. Rippling is seeking compensatory and punitive damages for the harm Deal has inflicted and will pursue necessary legal actions. All right, let me go look at the complaint PDF because what did he reference here? Paragraphs 93 on. Ooh. That's a dark PDF. Let me see. Paragraph 93. Where would this be? Not sure. Let's keep going. Come on, you're in here somewhere. Come on. Where are you? All right, here we go. D defector. So upon learning of the Tiny Bird searches, Rippling strongly suspected Deal was directing DS's actions. But to ensure its suspicions were correct, Rippling conceived of a test known in the security world as a honeypot. This isn't really a honeypot. I'm going to give it to him though. That would leave no doubt. Utilizing Ripley's understanding of that Deal activated its spy when it perceived potential reputation damage. The evening of March 3rd, 2025, Rippling's general counsel sent a letter to 3 individuals. The board chair and chief financial officer and general counsel, and the CEO, and also their legal department. Rippling's letter included a screenshot of a Slack message from its chief revenue officer, Matt Plank, referencing D-Defector's Slack channel along with 3 points, which were all believed to be true but redacted for dramatic effect. The screenshot in reference was intended to indicate to Deal that Rippling had a Slack channel for ex-Deal employees now employed by Rippling, where they shared embarrassing information about Deal that the channel contained information that would cause negative press attention. So what did they throw in this? It's kind of a shitty screenshot. Let's see. Mr. Dingleberg, while I appreciate Deal's ongoing fascination with Rippling's hires and especially Deal defectors, blank and blank, rest assured, Rippling does not want Deal's confidential information. But since you wrote, I wanted to raise our concerns. For starters, as Deal is surely aware, some redacted name, no longer works here because of Deal, as Rippling's CRO Matt Plank recently learned. Oh, so they made a fake message, screenshotted it, and referenced that blank channel. Oh, that's so beautiful. Just one little nugget of info right there. Boom. Beautiful. So in truth, the renamed D-Defectors channel did not exist until March 3rd, 2025. Rather than being a gathering place for ex-Deal employees, the channel was set up as part of a ruse designed to confirm Deal was instructing DS to search for specific information in Rippling Slack. So Deal, through DS, who I'm guessing that's their mole, took the bait. Within hours of Rippling sending the letter referencing the channel, a channel that existed only as bait, one that which DS could not have known existed absent a connection between himself and Deal, DS ran the following Slack searches. Matt Blink, Black Blink, D-Defector, D-Defector, Defector. DS also accessed D-Defector's channels 5 times that same day. For avoidance of doubt, before March 3rd, 2025, DS had never searched for the term defectors in Slack. Further, and crucially, at the time the letter was sent to Deal, no one at Rippling, apart from the investigation team, had ever viewed the D-Defectors channel. The results of Rippling's honeypot operation left no doubt. Deal's senior leadership, or those close to them, were directing DS's actions in furtherance of Deal's business interest to harm Rippling and its customers. I love that. I love that. This makes me so happy. They just took the bait. They took the bait and the sinker. Everything. So beautiful. All right, Oreo, I saw your message, but I wanted to get through this real quick before I hit. So let's see. When it comes to coding, I had to learn in reverse. So by thinking of a great project or a tool or ideal and failing all the way. So instead of learning to code because I lose joy in coding too quickly. That's a great way to do it, Oreo. It depends on what your motivation is. And you guys have heard me say this before. Motivation is not what keeps you going. It's just what starts you. So if your motivation is to learn coding, then you start with just learning coding. And then discipline takes over after that. You have to stay disciplined in your approach. Like, I am doing this to learn coding so that I can progress into some other area. That could be your motivation could just be like a little module. You could swap it in. My motivation is to build Hack the Bot, have fun with it. So I suck at Python coding. Cool. We're going to get better at writing raw Python from scratch instead of just modifying code. I don't know diddly hardly about LangGraph. Cool. We're going to learn LangGraph, and I'm going to fail all the way with you. You guys have seen me bang my head against the keyboard like, what the hell is this thing doing? Why is this happening? And so I had motivation to do that, but I also have discipline to do it. It's like, okay, cool. We're going to come back. We're going to try it again. We're going to do my favorite thing, which is hack around and find out. We're going to hack around. Someone's going to make a movie out of this battle. I don't know about that, APT. They'd have to embellish it a lot. I think they would probably do better with, like, I almost want to say a Hallmark movie, but you get the idea. Not really a Hallmark movie, because I don't know if there's like a happy ending here. Maybe it's star-crossed lovers, like there's a love interest. PS, while he's working inside Rippling, falls in love with some system engineer, and then she finds out you betrayed me. Oh no, she'd have to be on the investigation team. That would be it. She's in the investigation team, and then they find out, oh my god, it's him. And she has to maintain her cover. She can't get exposed. She can't let on that they're on to him. And then it's like, you broke my heart. And then like he comes clean during the court case and has like, you know, bleeding heart. Then you could do it as a Hallmark movie. Too funny. All right, hold on. I'm actually going to keep this up because there's more stuff in this document I want to read later. But let's go ahead and move on. I just loved the trap they set for him, and man, they fell for it hard. It's a trap. Let's see here. Let me take a look at this technique write-up real quick and see how detailed it gets. So the idea here is that bypassing SAML SSO authentication with parser differentials. I think we actually talked about this one back in the past, because I want to say there was an issue specifically with Ruby and specifically with GitLab that did this. Maybe this is a different product, or it's just a rehashing of that same one. What was the CVE here? Hang on. Authentication bypass vulnerability found in Ruby SAML prior to this version. Okay. And what was this one here? Authentication bypass vulnerability found in Ruby SAML prior to version. You're killing me, Smalls. They just stacked through the same ones in here. I like the bit about locking themselves in the bathroom. Dude, Cypher, that's so damn hilarious. What if he locks himself in the bathroom and then the love interest, the lady on the investigations team, has to like talk him out of there, but then he's so ashamed that's when he runs off? Damn, I've got a whole headcanon movie going about this in my head now. Thanks, guys. Let's see. All right, so these two vulnerabilities were discovered in Ruby SAML up to version 117. Attackers who were in possession of a single valid signature that was created with the key used to validate SAML responses or assertions of the target organization can use it to construct a SAML assertion themselves and are in turn able to log in as any user. Nice. I can zoom in a little bit more here. So in this blog post, we detail a newly discovered auth bypass vulnerability in Ruby SAML. GitHub doesn't currently use Ruby SAML for authentication, but began evaluating the use of the library with the intention of using an open source library for SAML authentication. The library is, however, used in other popular products and projects. So we discovered an exploitable instance of the vulnerability in GitLab and have notified their security team so they can take necessary actions to protect users. GitHub previously used Ruby SAML library up to 2014, but moved to our own SAML implementation. Oh, I didn't even realize this was from the GitHub team. Okay. GitHub actually has a pretty stout security team. Let's see. So following bug bounty reports, bug bounty reports around vulnerabilities in our own implementation. Let's see. GitHub recently decided to explore the use of Ruby SAML again. Then in October 2024, a blockbuster vulnerability dropped on authentication bypass in Ruby SAML. Yeah, I wanted to say this sounded familiar. We covered something like this late last year. I just couldn't remember it. So yeah, it must have been that. Which one was that? That was 45409. Okay, so these are two different ones. That was the one I was thinking of. So with tangible evidence of exploitable attack surface, GitHub's switch to RubySAML had been evaluated more thoroughly now. As such, GitHub started a private bug bounty engagement to evaluate the security of the RubySAML library. We gave selected bug bounty researchers access to GitHub test environments using RubySAML for SAML authentication. In tandem, the GitHub Security Lab also reviewed the attack surface of the library. Let's see. It's not uncommon when multiple researchers are looking at the same code, but a hacker one, a participant in the bug bounty program, and I noticed the same thing during code review. RubySAML was using two different XML parsers during the code path of signature verification, namely RexML and Nokogiri. So while RexML is an XML parser implemented in pure Ruby, Nokogiri provides an easy-to-use wrapper API around a different library like libxml2. libgumbo and Xerxes used for JRuby. Nokogiri supports parsing of XML and HTML. It looks like Nokogiri was added to RubySAML to support, I can't say that word, was it? Canonicalization. There we go. Potentially other RexMLs didn't support that at the time. Or other things that ReXML. I like calling it RexML better. So we both inspected the same code path of the validate signatures and found that the signature element to be verified is first read via RexML. And then also with Nokogiri's XML parser. So if RexML and Nokogiri could be tricked into retrieving different signature elements for the same XPath query, it might be possible to trick RubySAML into verifying the wrong signature. Gotcha. I think, yeah. This sounds so familiar. Is this just a twist on what that other one was? Because if I remember correctly, hang on, let me look at something real quick. I want to see if they provide an example of it. Because I want to say what they did is... Okay. Signature element could look something like this. Hold on, let me back up a little bit. Okay, so note, the name of the signature element might be a bit confusing. While it contains the actual signature of the signature value node, it also contains the part that is actually signed with the signed info node. Most importantly, the digest value element contains the digest hash of the assertion and the information about the key used. So an actual signature element could look something like this. All right, so we get the signature, info, key, all right. Later in the same method, there's again a query for the signatures, but this time from Nokogiri. So it's looking for signature in here again. Then the signed info element is taken that the signed that the element is taken from that signature and canonicalized. All these big words. Let's see. Yeah, if I remember correctly, what they did here is they basically stuck two different ones in there because one was reading the bottom signature and then one was reading the top signature. So rather than having one signature block in there, you had two, and one was reading the last one and one was reading the first one. I want to say that's how this played out. Because I'm having serious deja vu right now. Okay, so in the end, we have the following constellation. The assertion is extracted and canonicalized with Nokogiri and then hashed. In contrast, the hash against which it is compared is extracted with ReXML. The signed info element is extracted and canonicalized with Nokogiri. It is then verified against the signature value, which is extracted by ReXML. So the question is it possible to create an XML document where ReXML sees one signature and Nokogiri sees another? Turns out, yes. A hacker one participating in the bug bounty was faster to produce a working exploit using a parser differential. Among other things, A hacker one was inspired by the XML round trips vulnerability published by Mattermost Juho Forsane? I'm going to butcher that name and I apologize, Juho, if you're watching. Much later, I produced an exploit using a different parser differential with the help of Trail of Bits Ruby Fuzzer. Both exploits resulted in authentication bypass, meaning an attacker who's in possession of a single valid signature that was created with the key used to validate SAML responses or assertions of the target organization can use it to construct assertions for any users, which will be accepted by the RubySAML. Such a signature can either come from a signed assertion or response from another unprivileged user, or in certain cases, it can even come from signed metadata or SAML identification provider. An exploit code could look something like this. Here's an additional signature where we added part of the status detail. Oh, hang on, let me see if I can blow this up. Hey, there we go. All right. So we've got the first signature block here. Let's see. So RexML doesn't find the signature, but Nokogiri does. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So look, we have signature block 1, and then we have signature block 2. This is what I was talking about. Damn, this seems so familiar. Hold on, I have to check something because I know I'm not prescient, and this isn't like me viewing the future. This is from March 12th. Yeah, this is very recent. Okay, so so this part gets extracted with Nokogiri. RexML doesn't see that. So let's find the A. So this part gets extracted by Nokogiri, verifies canonicalization, signed info against signature value. And then the bottom section, this other signature section down here, that gets parsed out by ReXML. So the first assertion, this assertion up here gets extracted by Nokogiri, compares the hash, the digital, compare hash of canonicalization assertion parts with the digest value. And then this actual section down here is what gets extracted by ReXML. Man, that's so bad. That's bad, man. So, in summary, the signed info element A from the signature that was visible to Nokogiri is canonicalized to verify against the signature value. B that was extracted from the signature seen by ReXML. The assertions retrieved by Nokogiri by looking for its ID. The assertion is then canonicalized and hashed, which is in block C. The hash is then compared to the hash value contained in the digest value D. Digest value was retrieved via ReXML. So this digest value has no corresponding signature. Dude, that's bad. Okay. I swear we covered this on the news before. I just noticed the ads are up. Hang on. Let's chill out for just a second here. Let's see. What do we got here? Beyond the Hook. Technical deep dive into modern phishing methodologies. Cautionary tale of insecure temporary files. Hardened runner detection. TJ actions / changed files actions is compromised. Goad part 14 with ADCS. Ooh, nice. I want to take a quick look at that one because I love the Goad lab. Goad is great. Okay, all right. Oh, so this is another blog post from Mayfly. Yeah. Since I know, I'm going to drop this one in chat since I know a lot of y'all are big into the Goad lab as well. Having fun with it. This will eventually be, the Goad lab will be one of the things that we do with Hack the Bot eventually. Once we kind of get it to where it can do some of the, like the basic CTFs, I do eventually want to throw it at Goad where it has to actually kind of like try to pivot around the environment and have fun. Let's see. I swear we covered that one too. Hold on. Am I on? Yeah, this is from yesterday. Okay. I saw this one. Disclosing YouTube creator emails for a $20,000 bounty. We covered that one too as well. Let's see. Bypassing authentication like it's the 90s. Pre-auth RCE chains in Intico Experience CMS. Content management system built on Microsoft Web Services, which had many flaws. Since this is Watchtower, you know the post is going to be both entertaining and ruthless. Let's take a look at that real fast. Oh my god, yeah, we're probably not reading this one. I don't know if y'all can see this. Look at that. Look how tiny that bar is. It's so long. The post is long. But yeah, for memes. I simply will not think at all. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. What? We got some Mythic love in the tools and exploits. Check this out. Xenon. Mythic agent for Windows written in C. Actually, I saw this because Cody sent it to me. Actually, I might want to go play with this just because. So this is a Mythic agent. Remember, this is something you can go just. There's tons of different types of agents you can plug into Mythic, generate payloads for, and go to town with. I like this. Let's see. Features: modular command inclusion, malleable C2 profiles with HTTPX, and compatible with Cobalt Strike's PostX beacon object files. Nice. So Xenon makes no claims about evasion. In fact, it is not OPSEC safe. There are many OPSEC improvements that need to be made to the agent. Main purpose of the project was to learn C and Windows internals, not create the next FUD implant. You say that now, but the whole reason why Gentle Kiwi wrote Mimikatz was to learn C and Windows internals. You say this now. It's coming, bro. It's coming. Let's see. These are optional commands that call the inline execute under the hood with specific buffs. Oh, neat. So it comes prepackaged with some beacon object files. Ooh. Let's play with that. I gusta. Actually, this is the thing that caught my attention. Ludus Mythic Team Server. Ludus role for deploying a Mythic Team Server onto Linux servers. Nice. Let's see. An Ansible role that installs and spins up a Mythic Team Server on Debian or Ubuntu. The role automatically installs a couple of Mythic agents, but feel free to fork and add your own for use. I love this. I love everything about this. You don't have any... I mean, who has forks, though? Oh, it's just the one? Okay, yeah, you know what? I gotta fork this over to BlazeBits because I'm gonna. I know I'm gonna modify that thing. In fact, I might just go test that out later. This is gonna be fun. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. Truffle Show. Simple web viewer for a TruffleHog JSON output. Yeah, if you hadn't seen TruffleHog, this is a really neat tool. TruffleHog is used for hunting for secrets in like code bases. Let's see. What's it look like? Oh, very cool. I like it. You know, it is 2025. I do like a good user interface these days. Yeah. Here, for anybody, for all my Red Team folks, here, I'm going to drop that in the chat for you if you want to look at it. It's called Truffle Show. Upload it to... So, completely client-side, no data is sent to the server. Actually, there is no server. Wait, oh, there's no server? Is this legit just, Is it just compiling down to HTML? Looks like you literally just access the index HTML. How do you use it here? Let's see. Here's an example of TruffleHog. Right, so it goes through it, checks a GitHub repository for keys, pipes it out, does all this stuff. Let's see. No, TruffleHog produces a broken JSON file. To get the valid JSON file, you can use JQ like this. Okay. Completely client-side. That's cool. I always do like that, because sometimes the tools, they give useful information, but making it accessible is such a pain in the ass. Let's see. What else we got here? SSH Stealer, smart keylogging capability to steal SSH credentials, including passwords and private keys. Say what? Look at this. I'm always down for stealing some SSH keys. Let's see. So smart keylogger capability. Smart keylogging capability to steal SSH credentials, including passwords and private keys. The stolen credentials are written to desktop.ini or desktop.ini. Oh, it actually, that's sweet. So what this is doing is it's not writing it to the desktop.ini, it's writing it to an alternative data stream called log. So if you're not familiar with this, this is a really cool feature of NTFS. Bring this up real quick here. And in fact, you can see this if you ever look at stuff that you've downloaded via Windows and you look at it and it's not on like an NTFS share. So what you'll see here is, let's say we had desktop.ini, right? And then if you look at this in a Linux system, like say WSL, what you'll see is you'll see two files here. Let's say you downloaded this file. Actually, hang on. This is a shit example. Let's say we had not malware. .exe, right? And we download that. If we look at this, navigate to our downloads folder using WSL, and we do a ls against it, we're actually going to see two files there because we downloaded this from the internet. We're going to see not malware, but then we're also going to see not malware .exe colon, and what's it called? I'm trying to remember. It's going to have a name value here. And basically that name value here, this is the alternative data stream, the ADS. So these are almost, you can think of it like subfiles inside of a single file for ADS. And this, in this case, would be the mark of the web. So it would say, hey, by the way, so if you didn't know that, you can actually go through and manually delete the mark of the web using WSL just by navigating to it in Windows. Hey, Ford, what's up, man? Weekly Purple Team did a video walkthrough for Run Ass Stealer. For Run Ass? Let me look at that real quick. Stealing credentials with Run Ass Stealer. I have not seen Run Ass Stealer. Oh, it's from these same guys. Dark Space Security. Cool. Hang on, let me look at this and I will check that out. Get the credentials by typing this in command. Here we go. So this is the example, right? So it looks like you're accessing the main file here, but no, what you're doing is you're accessing that alternative data stream. I love this idea. This is sick. To remove the stored credentials, you can use a PowerShell command. Yep. Let's see, so what do they do here? Oh wait, this is the same thing. Did they just rename it, Ford? See the little demo here. All right, so he's trying to get the contents of the alternative data stream from the log. There's nothing there. And then he runs the SSH keylogger. He logs in with SSH. SSH is to a system, exits out. All right, and then he reads the log file right there. Nice. Well, the one in the links was, this was called Run As Stealer, and the one we were looking at was SSH Stealer. Looks like this one might be customized to SSH, perhaps? Now, let me duplicate this one. Oops, it would help if I actually typed in the name correctly. Yeah, it's from the same guys over at Dark Space Security. I'm not familiar with them. Let's see. Run As Utility Credential Steal implements 3 techniques: hooking the create process with login W, smart keylogging, and remote debugging. The stealers are runnable while in a loop. The injector is also a hooking case in the background to kill them using Task Manager. Stolen credentials are written to desktop INI, alternative data stream log. Nice. I love this so much. So what are they doing with this one? Let's take a look at this. So hold on, how did they run this? So they ran their injector. Let's see. They passed it something as run as hook.dll. Okay. And so they checked the INI log. Nothing comes back. They use the run as command. They get that. We see a successful injection into the PID. We see that we're a user demo. Cool. And when they read the log file, oh, nice. Nice. I love that. Probably not terribly difficult to detect, considering it's doing injection into the run as command. That's pretty awesome. Sweet. Okay, hey, I'm going to drop both of these in this chat. So here's the run as one. And then here's the SSH stealer. I wonder if I wonder how that SSH one is actually logging in there. But I love this. This is great. Hang on, these are going in the red team list. Red team. And then same for you, sir. You're going in the red team list. There we go. Love that. Very awesome. Okay. What do we else have up on the chopping list for tonight? DS Viper, a powerful tool designed to bypass Windows Defender security mechanisms, enabling seamless execution of payloads on Windows systems without triggering security alerts. Debatable. Methods seem pretty simple, and it's pretty sketchy to download C++ files from GitHub instead of package them into a repo. Let me look at this real quick. So what do we have here? We got a couple zip files in here. But what are we downloading with this? Let's see. Manually install. You can do, let's see, cd to BS Viper, do a pip install. Why are we downloading some random assembly from a zip file here? What we just talking about, sketch-ass GitHubs? We were just talking about sketchy-ass GitHubs, and then we get this one popping up in here. I mean, it has to be legit, though. Look at this. Look at this ASCII art. You know it's legit. It's got ASCII art. Hey, Egos, what's up, man? Yeah, nope. That's a big nope for me, Ghost Rider. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. Security conversation. Oh, yeah. Raphael Mudge actually came out and had a pretty good rant on security right now. Yeah, I'm with you guys on that one. Let's see. What is this? Cradle. Cradle is a collaborative platform for cyber threat intelligence analysts. Streamlines threat investigations with integrated note-taking, automated data linking, interactive visualizations, and robust access controls. Interesting. What is this? Snake Apple. Articles and tools related to research in the Apple environment. Mainly Mac OS, right? The Tick. Spoon! Tick is the next evolution in covert access control system in plans for simulating adversary in the middle attacks. All right, let me take a look at this. I do like me some fun hardware toys. I've never used ESP key, but the Tick is supposed to be a bit of an upgrade. All right, let's take a look at it. Ooh, it's tiny. It's so cute. So little. Tick is the next evolution in covert access control implants. Designed for a seamless integration behind card readers, the Tick silently intercepts, logs, and replays access credentials with greater efficiency and stealth than ever before. Compatible with a wide range of RFID systems, provides invaluable, to red teamers, insights into facilities' insecurities, while enabling advanced credential injection. So whether for security auditing, red teaming, or mobile access control testing, the Tick delivers a compact, powerful, and flexible solution in an ever-connected world. What, no USB-C? It's trash. Right. Comparison with other projects, let's see. Unfortunately, I'm not super familiar with a lot of these hardware standards, so I don't have a good basis for comparison on like how to express it. Let's see. So it's using an ESP32C3. The firmware is properly structured code, time-efficient code soup, slightly organized code soup. Let's see. Arachnophobia safe. Yes. Partially hidden mugga mode. Let's see. Max power supply voltage and then max data line voltage. Greater than 12 volts. All right. Let's see. So while expanding the feature range, the device still preserves a convenient small footprint. Cool. Yeah, that is pretty tiny. Let's see, firmware. This device started as a simple port of the ESP key for ESP32C that gradually grew into an extensible and multi-protocol software project with my own hardware. Let's see, features. Communications interfaces. Uses, I guess that's Bluetooth low energy, Wi-Fi, HTTP. Firmware upgrades, they use OTA and OTA HTTP. Neat. Actually, let me look at this. So in Wagon mode, the device can still can receive and sniff transmit messages of any length. Assignment of D0 and D1 lines can be corrected in the configuration file after the installation if needed. The device was successfully tested with a 5-volt and 12-volt PAX system that used different card number lengths. The clock and data mode. Device can receive and transmit messages of any reasonable length. Assignment of data and clock lines can be corrected in the configuration file. Device was successfully tested with a 12-volt clock and data system running in Magstripe. Very cool. Man, I'm having like old school shit, those little routers, Linksys router flashbacks from this interface right here. Let's see. HTTP interface. So if built with the use HTTP flag, the device provides a quiet eye candy simple HTTP interface based on almost REST API and built using jQuery and Bootstrap. Interesting. I wonder how you connect to it. Do you connect to it like through a Wi-Fi interface? Review, modify application configurations, sniff interactions. What's an almost API? It means, I'll give you an example. Okay, Egos, you want to know what almost API is? When we were writing Deimos, you know, back, I don't know, 5 years ago now. When we were writing Deimos, one of the main guys, his name is Chase, and he was actually doing all the backend stuff. But when he was implementing JSON into Go, we went through this entire back and forth about how to properly format the shit to send it to the server. So for a long time, we were using JSON trademark. We weren't using like real JSON. And it had to do with Chase was learning Go. That entire impetus for him to write that project was to learn Go. Similar to me writing Hack the Bot Python. And so when he did that, we had this like weird amalgamation. Later on, he actually did learn like the correct implementation and went back and refactored and fixed all the code. The guy is super smart. And after he did that, we were able to just send like actual legit JSON between the front end and the back end. I was doing the front end coding. And I'm like, why the fuck is this not working? It's because we weren't using JSON. We were using JSON-like. Oh, that was funny. I hope I never have to do front-end coding ever again. Let's see. That's pretty cool, though. I like this. So I'm kind of confused, though. Is the idea here that this is... I've never used the ESP key either. Let me look at that. ESP key. GitHub. Look at that. Because the idea for ESP key, right, was... Advanced implantable logic analyzer and debugging tool designed with use for devices with the WAGR communication protocol, built-in wireless LAN communication module, and can store up to 80,000 unique credential bit streams in non-volatile memory, depending on the credential bit format. You punch it down onto an access card reader. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, this is like if you were doing like a serious physical red team and you wanted to try and breach it. Yeah, I mean I think it's cool. I think the idea of it is cool. The practicality of it is a little bit questionable because you'd have to do it in a way where you're not going to get caught. So you have to assume like, hey, the guard's not there. You have to know like what rounds were they making, things like that. I do like the idea of it though. I especially like the form factor because damn, that's little. It's so cute. Oh, look, it even says the tick on it right there. The tick, version 01. What do we got here? One more. Scorpy. Modern hypervisor for macOS. Or you're the repair guy for 10 minutes or so. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Modern lightweight general purpose hypervisor. Let's see. Implements only modern devices, primarily VirtIO based, avoiding legacy emulations. Built on FreeBSD, written in C with minimal code. Supports headless and graphical VMs, EFI bootloaders, and ACPI. Oh, cool. This would be really fun to run on my Mac. If I had one. I kind of do miss my Mac for work. The battery life was so freaking good on the M-Max. Let's see, was there anything else in here? I don't know. Actually, let me take a quick look at last week since I missed last week. Real fast. Let's see. 5-bit hackers lacked OPSEC. Update. Actually, I think we covered this one too. Or at least I covered it. I looked at it probably. Let's see. What was this actually though? Removal of DES and Kerberos for Windows Server and Client. So Windows is known for its backwards compatibility, and this is proof. DES was disabled by default in 2009, but it's still available in 2025. Yeah. But what is this? Exploitable Episode 2. Enter the Matrix. Let's see. Covered our journey into IoT ARM exploitation, while the next blog coming for the next couple of weeks will cover web targets. In this episode, we attempt to exploit one of the most famous vulnerabilities ever, SSH Nuke, from back in 2001. Better known as the exploit used by Trinity in the movie Matrix Reloaded. Nice. Eagles, I did see something about the GitHub actions, but I kind of glossed over it. Let's go take a look at it real fast. In fact, it was in today's blog. Let me see. Where was that? I saw it in here. Yeah. Let's read what they got actually going on here. Multiple tags in this. Example, this tag was just updated 3 hours back and is potentially exfiltrating credentials. You can read more here. Oh, which he links over to it. Reported the issue via the email address provided by the security MD file and also reported via private vulnerability disclosure to generate a CV. Alright, so what do they say here? Step security. I'm not familiar with these guys. Oh my god, your site. Your site is atrocious. Oh, that's better. Responsive design is hard. You shouldn't bash on UX developers. UX is hard. Okay. That's all right, guys. I'm going to run an ad break real fast because they're coming up on us anyway. I need to run to the bathroom. This will be going for a minute, so I will be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. And he goes, yes, I actually have written CSS before, and I didn't like it. I did, because I wrote the front end in Vue.js for Deimos. And what was also kind of funny about that was we actually hired this lady to come in, and she was a very good developer, but it was largely my fault because of how I wrote the interaction for the backend. And so she did not understand what was happening there. So when she came in and like did a complete rewrite of the front end, it was making it like real professional. It didn't quite mesh with actually like what was being sent from the front end to the back end. Unfortunately, Deimos is pretty much just dead on the vine. I liked it and it was a fun project, but it's also not one I wish to continue. So yes, I have written CSS and I have written JavaScript. And I hate the fact that the single coding language I have the most experience with is frickin' JavaScript. And it's another reason why I would like to work on some more Python. When it comes to building tools, I feel like I'm just creating a poor hacker's MSF Venom. But I still have no idea how to cross-compile special binary types. You'll learn, man. I like the front end more than the back end. I'm more of a back end guy myself. Slap Tailwind on it and call it a day. There you go. I know. Eventually, Hack the Bot's going to have a front end to it because we're going to have a human in the loop interaction, and there are some visualizations I want to be able to do with it. So, like, where we can trace the calls that it actually does take through the graph, so we can say like, hey, this is what we're doing right now. That's just going to be, that is like way the hell down the road. Way the hell down. All right, let's look at this thing for the GitHub actions. What was going on here? Let's see. So we're actively investigating a critical security incident involving TJ Actions change files GitHub action. So while our investigation's ongoing, we wanted to alert users that can take immediate corrective actions. Let's see. We detected the issue through anomaly detection when an unexpected endpoint appeared in the network traffic. Based on our analysis, the incident started around 9 a.m. on March 14th. Around 4 p.m. March 14th UTC. 4 p.m. Yeah. Let's see. Step Security has released a free secure drop-in replacement for this action to help recover from the incident. We highly recommend you replace all instances of TJ Actions changed files with the secure step alternative. Oh, look. Looks like it's another supply chain attack. All right, let's look at the timeline here. Let's see. Most versions of TJ Actions change files are compromised. March 15th, 2 a.m. UTC. We have detected multiple public repositories have leaked secrets in build logs. These build logs are public. Anyone can steal these credentials. If you maintain any public repositories that use this action, please review the recovery steps immediately. Then at 2 p.m. UTC, GitHub has removed the changed files action. GitHub action workflows can no longer use this action. Let's see, 10 p.m. UTC. Repository has been restored back. None of the versions include the malicious exploit code anymore. So they took down the GitHub repo and restored it to a version that hadn't been compromised. Is that what I'm reading right? Let's see. March 16th at 6 a.m. UTC. We've received several questions from the community to help recover from the incident and answer questions. We're hosting an office hours on some day. March 17th, Security Step Community Office Hours recording can be found on YouTube. This provides an overview of the incident, how it was detected, and how one can recover from it. Let's see. March 18th at 2:30 a.m. UTC, there's conclusive evidence that several actions in the ReviewDog GitHub organization are compromised. So it's possible that TJ Actions change file incident may have been caused due to this, as several GitHub action workflows in the TJ Actions organization use the compromised actions. However, there's no conclusive evidence concurrently to link these two supply chain incidents. All right, so this is kind of, I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the stream before, but supply chain attacks are pretty real, and there are ways to address these. One of the most proficient ways to do that is you just don't go pull the fresh code every damn time. You lock it down to a particular version of it. and you don't update that until you can go do a code review of those modules before they go forward. Let's see. What to do when HackTheBot hacks itself and finds its own bugs? It's becoming self-aware. That'd be awesome. It won't have that kind of capability. I mean, technically it could, because it will have a Python execute ability, but I don't want to say, I'm not going to say I don't foresee that happening, but I don't foresee that happening yet. It looked like the action was used to check what files have been changed in a CI/CD pipeline. Thus, people who use the Actions plugin had their logs scraped. Yeah, that's what it sounds like, Egos. Pessimistic versioning is causing this mostly. Yeah, pretty much. All right, summary of the incident. So the changed files GitHub action, which is currently used in over 23,000 repositories, had been compromised. In this attack, the attackers modified the attacker's code and retroactively updated multiple version tags to reference the malicious commit. The compromised... Well, actually, shit, there you go. I mean... So even what I was just talking about wouldn't have necessarily helped with this. If you're going to be using your code in production, you need to do code control. You need to be making sure that it works. One of the things that would have helped with this, hey, anybody who's used GitHub Actions, because I'm not familiar with it terribly, I've only seen a little bit of it. Can you not only tie it to a particular commit, but also can you have a commit hash on there where it says, hey, this is the cryptographic hash of this commit? Egos, can you do that? So rather than just referencing the commit, can you say, hey, here's the commit and here's the integrity sum of it? Actions is just a simple one-line plugin with the version. Oh, damn. Rip-a-roni. So if the workflow logs are publicly accessible... Actually, hold on. So the compromised actions prints CI/CD secrets into the GitHub Actions build logs. So if the workflow logs are publicly accessible, like on public repositories, anyone can potentially read these logs and obtain exposed secrets. This is one of the reasons why I like attacking CI/CD pipelines when I find them in customer environments. If I need them. If I don't need it, then it's just fun. There's no evidence that the leaked secrets were exfiltrated to any remote network destination, so here's a sequence of events on the supply chain attack. The adversary compromised a personal access token linked to TJ Actions bot account, to which the maintainer used for maintaining the repository. The exact attack method to compromise the PAT is unknown. They created the malicious commit outside of the action repository. The updated all action release tags to point to the malicious commit. So with this change, Action started executing the adversary provided malicious code. Let's see. Our hearted runner solution flagged this issue with an unexpected endpoint appeared in the workflow's network traffic. So this anomaly was caught by hearted runner's behavior monitoring capabilities. The compromised action now executes a malicious Python script that dumps CI/CD secrets from the runner workspace, the runner worker process. Most of the existing actions release tags have been updated to refer to the malicious commit. All these tags now point to the same malicious commit tag, indicating a retroactive compromise of multiple versions. Rip-a-roni. Let's see. Stefano Labaris, I don't know sure how to say this, has identified the malicious commit that introduced the exploit code in the action. Let's see, function update token. Oh, look at that, a big ass, base 64 string. This is some of that suspicious GitHub shit I talk about when I'm looking for things. If I see big chunks of obfuscated code, that's a dead giveaway that that library is doing something sus. I'm looking at you, evil WinRM. Honestly, most of these plugins are not really needed. You can do most of the same stuff that they do in the container that gets ran. Yeah. People just get lazy, man. Look at all the freaking repositories that got compromised by that npm module. What is it? Is even? Just checks if a fucking number is even. Can you not do binary ending? No, this one's not a PowerShell command. This one is... Are you talking about for evil WinRM SM? Sorry, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. And it was because I had to deal with some evil WinRM shenanigans on my last red team. Oh, the highlighted code? No, here, let's enhance this bad boy a little bit here. Can I zoom in? Zoom in? Zoom in? There we go. Now, if you look at this here, what it's looking at is, this is Python code. Is this Python code? Let me see. No, this is JavaScript code. So what they're doing is they're doing an async await execute, but it's running bash with a tag C, and it's going to, we got the backticks in here. So in backticks, it's going to echo all this, probably pipe it over to base64D. Yeah. Put that into run temp run sh, and then run it. This is where the backdoor is coming from, right here. This is how you run the given plugin. Risky click of the day. Let's see. Oh, on pull request. So detect changes to all files in a pull request relative to the target branch since the last git. I see. So literally, this is the only. I'm surprised there's no other security feature in here. You'd figure they would have learned from stuff like compromises of JavaScript libraries, because what you do, when you're importing a lot of JavaScript libraries, is not only do you point it to the library's address on the internet, the URL, but you can supply a cryptographic sum that says, by the way, here's the library, and it must match this cryptographic sum before it gets executed. Rip. There's no lock file on actions, bro. Let's see. All right, here we go. So the base64 encoded string in the above screenshot contains the exploit code. So here's the decoded version. If the OS type equals Linux GNU, then base64 blob equals curl this stuff, echo the base64 blob. So what are they curling? They're curling memdump.py. That's funny as shit. So literally, the base64 blob is they run curl. They go get memdump.py. They pipe it to Python 3. They trim out all the nulls. And then they grep for just certain values in here. They look for value is secret true. That's it. And then they pipe that over to sort, get all the unique versions of it, base64 it. In fact, they double base64 it for some reason. See that? And then they just echo the blob. And when this stuff gets echoed, it gets put into the build blob. You think they learn. Oh, wait, developers. Pale, that's why I'm doing so much of the AI stuff. Part of that whole journey there is to understand what are the pitfalls of implementing this stuff. What are the corners that I might cut so I know where the developers are cutting it, so I might know where to attack it. Drop 26 for maximum security. I can't even argue with that, Cypher. This is likely running in Ubuntu as they have a default image that gets ran. Yeah. Let's see. So here's the content of memdump.py. Get PID, do all that stuff. Yeah. We can kind of infer its functionality from the name of it. Let's see. So even though GitHub shows Renovate as the commit author, most likely the commit did not actually come up Renovate bot. You can spoof that stuff. There's no proper attribution in a Git log when you go commit something. You can easily go commit it to somebody else. The commit's an unverified commit, so likely the adversary provided Renovate as the commit author to hide their trust. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's funny. It's cool they provided instructions on how to recreate the issue, though. That's pretty neat. Yeah, but Egos, how many people are actually signing their commits with a GPG key? It's 2025, so ROT 52 is the new requirement. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad you do, but you are by far the exception. I don't sign my commits. I know that. Oh, you have to promote your jobs? That's a good That's a good exercise. That's somebody who understands actually what's going on there. Like the fact that you have that requirement. Oh, that's too funny. Is it possible this fails if bash is not installed? It would fail as long as they don't have BusyBox that could approximate it. Your CI/CD won't even run if the commits aren't signed. Now, is it just checking if the commits are signed or if they're signed properly? Because, like, what if you just go and make a fake, GPG key and sign it? Just signed? Okay. At least then, I mean, at the very least, you would know that, okay, this was a signed commit. It just wasn't a legitimately signed commit. So you do have a little bit of attribution there. You can't just say, oh, by the way, yeah, the CFO said, put this code in here. Yo, dog, I heard you like base 64. So I base 64 your base 64 with some base 64 and decoded it with base 64. Yeah, pretty much. God, what was that? Tiberius actually posted something on X Twitter. I'm gonna start calling it X Twitter because I don't want to call it X. I don't want to call it Twitter. X Twitter. And it was funny because he said he's gonna vibe code an IDE for vibe coders. I was like, yo, dog, I heard you like vibe coding. Hey, Bobby, what's up, man? Happy Tuesday, bro. All right, Egos, thanks for stopping in, man. Have a good day. Have a good one. How do I get good at cryptography? You don't roll your own crypto, SM. That's the main crux of it. 99% of the time when somebody has an issue with crypto, it's because they rolled their own. Believe it or not, would you guys believe me if I told you that WEP, the very first wireless encryption protocol, was actually very secure? They just fucked up the implementation of it. I still call Elbow's rocket company Space Twitter. Is that what they're calling? Wait, hold on. Did you mean to type Elon or did you mean to type Elmo? Because that's hilarious. Oh, that's funny. Elmo. I call him Elmo. That's hilarious. I've never heard him called that. Hang on one sec. Let me drop into here real fast. Can't type. That kind of wraps it up for the news. Unless anybody has any other cool stories, I'm gonna bring up the lab real fast. I want to see if I can debug that last issue we had. So there's a logic error where we got stuck in a loop. LangGraph eventually, after 25 iterations, bailed out of the loop. I want to see if I can fix that real fast. That'll make me happy. I mean, I am happy. It'll just also make me extra happy to have that fixed. Space Twitter. Space Twitter would really be like Starlink. That would be Space Twitter. There we go. Move this over here. Let's see if we can go. Let's go pop into the code real quick because I want to see if I can figure out where that bug was. Let's see. Limit of 25 reached without hitting a stop condition. You can increase the limit by setting the recursion limit config key. Okay. Let me go pull up something real fast. So we had our last LangGraph execution here in Langsmith. Let's take a look at this real quick. This error cost us 20 cents. Oh, you can't see it because my big ass head's behind it. Look at that. I like this. It estimates what the token usage was. That's cool. Points to replace X and SpaceX with Twitter. Space Twitter. Ah, I get it. Probably does bug the shit out of them. All right, let me see what we have in here. So let's look at this. So we had our recon agent. We had our input. Let's see. Was this our state key? Yeah, this was our state key here. And then we went to chat and Anthropic. We sent it a bunch of tools. We told it it's got these tools available. I wonder if I actually need to tell it what these tools are, since they're being bound to it. The metadata. Yes, we have all of our tools being sent to it, but then also I think we could actually trim down something in the design of this. I don't think we actually need to send the explicit tool calls to this. But I'll deal with that one in just a second. Let's see. Let me change this here. Let's do trim recon prompt. Let's see, to remove tools. Let's do that. So I'll do that in just a second. I want to see what's going on with this hit here. So what happened here is, so we go to chat. Chat Anthropic says, I'll help you find the common ports on ScanMe. Let's perform a TCP SYN scan on the identified target. It did come back with the correct scan. Give us a tool call, target, ScanMe, and map port. Perfect. So then we go to the router. Let's see. The AI message was, here we have a tool call. Output was go to the recon tool node. Recon tool node comes through. Oh, I think the problem here might have been, look at this, recon router, or actually, yeah, here. See how this nmap scan is taking 0 seconds? Yeah, we actually had the arguments incorrectly formatted. That was the issue here. So I want to try running this again. Let's do this, but I'm going to debug it. Let's go do a little debuggy buggy. So let's come over to, not the recon agent. Do we want to do this in the recon agent? No. I want to go over to LangChain Robo pages. Let me look at something real quick. Where was this called from? Pipeline 24. Okay, so when we get to the payload section here, I want to step through this and let's check and see where we're at with it. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to run this directly. Oh no, don't run it. No, stop. It did die. Didn't like that. It's supposed to debug anyway. I hit the wrong button. Okay, so... Okay, that's fine though. We're in debug. I don't care about that. All right, so this one we're saying we access the KW args. What do we have in here? That's not right. Why is KW args getting a URL and a user agent? Let me get rid of this real quick. Tuple equals... What the hell? Oh, this was our example. This should not be... Did I really just, hold on. Did I run the wrong file here? Recon agent. Run my recon agent. That was the problem. We set this to... That's fine. So the recon agent should be making LLM calls right now, and then it should break once it gets to the LangChain robo. That's why it looks so funky. Running the wrong file. Breakpoint's still in here. It's thinking. It's doing. What do you mean you hit a recursive limit? You're supposed to stop whenever you... Oh, shit. Son of a bitch. There was 20 more cents down the crapper. Let me see. I gotta figure out how to set a breakpoint on the tool call. It's doing the exact same thing again. Damn it. Actually, I think this might work, though, if I do this here. Try something. Run this. Okay, so this is still failing because we're getting messed up section for KWRs. I think the arguments here, though... Let me debug this again. No breakpoints, just breaking. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this, we got a debug on this broke on here, so that's fine. I think the problem is we're trying to access KWRs. Meow. KWRs, though, is actually what this should be, because if we come down here in the test case, right here, we told it we wanted to get the HTTP tool call right here. And so this would be HTTP get with an invoke here. So we should pass in a user URL and user agent. So what this should do is it should go through and invoke that tool call, get a response back, and then it's basically checking to see, did it have doc type HTML in there? If it did, it would pass. All right, so that's where everything's getting jacked up. So I think the problem is it's not KWRgs in here. I think it's really just star. But I need to see how it's being passed this way. So input was just target scan me. Let me go check something real quick. Got 30 minutes. We can do this. Hold on. I want to leave that up for future readings. Let's see here. Let's look at lane graph break on entering node. Let's see. I could always do a try catch in here. Let's see. Yeah, so the reason why this breakpoint's not hitting is because this is in the base class. We're not actually technically hitting that. Let me come back in here. Let's see. Actually, here, we'll break right here, where it returns that we're going to go to the recon tool node. Let's do that. I'm going to run this again. Once we hit to the return recon tool node, it should stop. Hopefully it's not running through another 25 iterations of it. You're hitting another 25 iterations of this, aren't you? You bastard. You sure are. Pause you. Why did it not break whenever we hit return recon tool? Let's see here. So how to update graph state nodes, create branches, how to visualize your graph, persistence, human. Actually, I do need to look at how to do the memory because we could have done quite a bit from this. Time traveling and streaming tool, multi state management. We could use LangGraph Studio. I don't know if I want to set that up tonight. What's the most odd file type you've ever made into something for Mythic to leverage beyond an executable, like service bins, DLLs, or MSI? Scarecrow had some other file types, but wondering if you did so more manually. Not usually. We actually have a CI/CD pipeline that handles all that, so I don't have to usually typically get too deep beyond just making shellcode, and then I let the CI/CD pipeline handle the rest of it. It's on my to-do list, though. Actually, I do want to set the graph recursion limit. How do I set this? Let's see. LangGraph state graph has reached maximum number of steps before hitting a stop condition. This is often due to an infinite loop caused by code. In your example, yada yada. If you have a complex graph, you can pass in a higher recursion limit value into your config object when you're invoking the graph like this. Go try that. I'm gonna, because I actually want to go set the recursion limit much lower. What's our inputs for the invoke function? Input dictionary and then a big recursion limit. I'm going to change the recursion limit to 5. Just that way, if we run this again, we're just going to not keep running against it. Is a CI/CD pipe just like how the framework handles creation of the file, or something else? Pretty much. So it's set up so that you send the shellcode and then it spits out a payload, like an actual usable payload. So once you get your various configurations set up, or like how you want to run things, or what you could do is then just pass in a configuration to the CI/CD pipeline, taking your shellcode as an argument, and then run through it. Let's see here. Version limit 5, yeah. I want to say I might. I think I kind of know what the fix is here. So I set a breakpoint at return at recon tool node, but it never actually broke there. So let me think about something. Does it sign the binary? I think that's one of the options you can do. Spoiler. Um, Honestly, I haven't had to use it a ton. But I mean, pretty much anything you want it to do that you could run with the CI/CD pipeline, you could have it do. Which I mean, which is pretty much anything if you think about it. Uh, let me see here. There has to be a way to set a breakpoint in a graph. All right, so we created a thread ID for the checkpointer. We run until step 3 as defined in before. Let me look at this a little bit more carefully here. Let's see what we've got. All right. So human-in-the-loop interactions are crucial for agentic system. Breakpoints are a common human-in-the-loop interaction pattern, allowing the graph to stop at specific steps and seek human approval before proceeding. Damn it! Got like skin oil in my eyes or something. Let's see. Breakpoints are built on top of LangGraph's checkpoints, which save the graph's state after each node execution. Checkpoints are saved in threads that preserve graph state and can be accessed after a graph has finished executing. This allows for graph execution to pause at specific points, await human approval, and then resume execution from the last checkpoint. The graph stops at breakpoint before node 2, waits for approval, continues. Okay. So let's look at the code they've got here. So they set their environment up. We specify the breakpoint using the interrupt before for the specified step. Let's see, we set up a checkpointer to save the state of the graph. Okay, so how are they doing this? So we have the state, we have step 1, step 2, step 3. And then for the nodes here, we map the steps. And then we just add edges. We go step 1 to 2 to 3. Perfect. Let's see. So memory is the memory saver. Graph equals builder.compile checkpointer memory interrupt equals before step 3. Let's see. Let me set some of these up real quick. So before we do the invoke here, this, we're going to set up memory saver. We're going to have to work that. How did that get installed? Yeah. But memory saver, let's say our graph is going to equal to builder compile. Let's do this. We'll do, I'm going to drop this in. We're going to call this test agent. Which this will not be builder. This will be workflow. Recon workflow. While our checkpoint will be our memory, interrupt before, and our interrupt before is going to be the tool node. Oh, no, that's not tool node. This is going to be... what is this? call that? Recon tool node. That's what we need. There we go. Oh, and I got it screwed up again. This is what we need. This is the actual name of it. There we go. All right. Let's see. Test agent. It's gonna be here. Let's see. Test agent invoke with test data with recursion limit 5. All right. So we set up the interrupter. Let's see. So we create a thread ID for the checkpointer. So we'll run until step 3 when we had the predefined interrupt. All right. So step 3, we have some kind of interrupt. That was our interrupt before here. Got it. So after user approval, we resume execution by invoking the graph. Okay. Let's see. So in the context of agents, breakpoints are useful for manually approving certain actions. So we build a relatively simple React-style agent that's done with tool calling. We'll add a breakpoint before the action node is called. So here's our tool node. All right. So our action node calls our tool node, and when they implement it down here, we interrupt before action. Let's try running this in the debug. What do we get a value check for? Oh, checkpointer requires one or more of the following configurable keys. We need a thread ID, checkpoint NS, or checkpoint. I missed that part. Oh, we need to, when we compile it, we need to tell it the checkpointer. That's the problem. Actually, we did checkpoint memory. What was the error said? It said checkpointer requires one or more of the following configurable keys. Oh, key would be the thread ID. That's what they were saying. They configured it with the thread ID in here. Let's see. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna do. So we need to go back and actually do a runnable. The thread is going to be a configurable. And I believe actually we can put. Let's see. So that's when we. Message inputs the thread stream. I gotta remember I gotta figure out where this is actually plugging into, where we have the thread ID. So we get all this back. But this is from AppStream. What's saying here? Checkpointer requires. What were the following configurations? I think that might pass this into Saber. Am I missing something in the compile here? Oh, I know why. Because it's still in debug mode. That's why it's not giving me any of the pop-up information. Saver. Oh, that's why. So in configurable, we need to set that. Let's see. I believe I want to take this recursion right there. Actually, I'm screwing this entirely up. Okay. Let's clean this up a bit. This should be taken out. There we go. Let's call this test config here. Call that test config, and then we plug this in. Here, I think this would be our test config. Now let's try debug. See if I can figure this out real fast before I gotta log off for the night. Process finished with exit 0. Did we not interrupt before the recon tool node? Oh, it did interrupt. Just it didn't break on it though. So I ran it with the debug, it just didn't bust out of there whenever I did that. Well, that's not helpful. Alright, let me take all this stuff back out. I do want to eventually implement a little bit of memory in here, but not. Let's take all that out. Let's change that to, what's this, recon agent? Agent. Oh, think about this. I mean, I think I have an idea how to change it. I'm just hesitant to change it here. I think this, instead of KWR, just needs to be star KW. Either that or just pass in the KWRs right here. So let me just try running this one real quick. Oh, didn't like that. I put a breakpoint there. Let's see. Like that. Alright, so what does our KWRs have here? Oh, our KWRs didn't have one in here for this example. Damn, so for some reason, because of the way it's handing off the execution, we actually don't see, even though we debug it, we don't see it happening. Let's come back over. Let's see if we can make this. link graph. Let's see here. Let's look at the tool node options here. So we define our tools. So in this case, we had get weather, take a single string. That's it. It's location. So in this case, the tool call is going to be, there's the tool call right there. We tell it get weather, location, SF. But yeah, it's args right here. So why is there no KW args with this? So it doesn't like that there's no ID in here. So that's fine. What we'll do is we're going to update this a bit. We're just going to add an ID value. Let's do that. So we'll say this is going to be HTTP. Yes. JSON decoding here. Let me look this up. So we had a post request, but that returned a 400, so it was coming back ill-formed. Got the cardboard box. Hey, sis, what's up, man? We wrapped up the news earlier, man. You missed it. It was a fun time. Oh, that's why, because it didn't like... So the error we were getting... Let's look back at our Langsmith trace here. So the error we were getting here... was graph recursion error. So we hit the recon router, right? All right, so we get a tool call, we get a tool call ID, and then we get this information here. Step through this code again. Fast. So that goes to our recon node, which is a tool node against RB tools. All right. Just waiting one more day that I might get a dock for my Steam Deck so I can play on the TV without disconnecting a lot. Oh, nice, man. Dude, my son loves his Nintendo Switch for that reason. As much as I hate to do this, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do what every coder should not really, which is print self. I'm gonna try this. Let's see what happens here. It might be stupid. You know what? Let it recurse a little bit here, do its thing. Well, actually did print on the debug itself. Okay, cool. Oh, so our KW args did actually just come back with, so that's literally all it passed to it? Hold on, let's look at self here. So for self, we had args. Let's see. We have KW args, which is default title, yada, yada, yada. Bug goes 1 penny, haha, 2 penny, haha. I know, right? Actually, this actually might have just saved us a little bit of a little bit of money here. All right, let's see. There's self. That's Robo Pages. That's okay. Actually, we can evaluate the rest of the stuff here because I need to know what args is. So args was nothing. KW args was just our target, right? So I wonder if we can modify how we're making the calls to Robo Pages because I want to pass in the tool call also. We don't really have to. I would just like to be able to track the tool call. Let me try something real quick. Lane graph tool node path call. This says we pass it, in this case, they're invoking it with something with a tool call. We also do parallel tool calling using tool node if you pass multiple tool calls to AI messages tool call. Yeah, this is gonna bug me. It's gonna bug the shit out of me. Let me see. So we could pass in multiple tool calls, but that's using with chat models. We had our React agent. So, I mean, we do want to just pass in the KW args. The problem is that will work, but it's this part. I want to capture the damn tool call ID. Oh, the Steam Deck dock's like only $40. That's cool. I have so many Steam games. I probably should actually look at getting a Steam Deck. Let me stop this execution. Look at something for tool. Come on, bring out the documentation. Let me see it. Let's see. So a node that runs tool calls in the last AI message. So it can either be a state graph with a message's state key, or a custom key passed by a tool node's message key. Okay, so we could change the message key in here if we wanted to. That's fine. Look at something real quick here. So for the router, so here's our model call. We react it. Response is going to be LM with tools. We invoke our recon prompt. We return the messages here. It then should go to the... Let's see, so from start goes to recon agent. We add a conditional note that if recon agent... go to recon router. If last message state message is 1, if it's a tool call, then we return the recon tool call. Okay. Goes to recon tool. I don't want to do something. I'm going to refactor this because it's still getting a little bit troublesome. So let's do... And then same thing with this one. Let's refactor this one. There we go. There's a game that comes with the Steam Deck that shows off what it can do called Aperture Desk Job. I mean, that one sounds like a pretty cool deal. I actually, God, I'm ashamed to admit this. I have a Steam VR headset that I have not opened in a year. I had fully intended on building a computer out for Sock so that she could play VR games, and it has not happened. Oh, I feel like a horrible husband now. Thanks for reminding me, Sisyphus. So it's going to send a return. It's going to return recon tool node, which that's going to map over to here. Let me see. So this tool can also be passed directly with a list of tool call dictionaries. Tool call node is roughly analogous to tools by name. Tools for all the tools, define tool state dictionary. Let's see. Tool calls can also be passed directly to a tool node. This can be useful when sending API and a conditional edge. Okay. How do we do this? We example conditional edge. If tool relies on state or stored value, whose values are not generated directly at all, you can inject them into the tool call. Okay. Input state can be the following: a dictionary of message keys containing a list of values, a list of messages, a list of tool calls. So if we're operating on a message list, the last message must be an AI message with the tool call populated. So a sequence of tools that can be invoked by the tool. That's bugging the shit out of me. I mean, I'm glad it broke on the print statement here. We actually do not need this tool call ID. So I could get this working by just taking this out right here and breaking this, because I think just passing in KW args directly to arguments would work. I'm gonna try that. See what happens. Actually, I'm gonna break over here again. Let's run this. All right, Sisyphus, have a good night, man. Yeah, I was just trying to figure this damn thing out before I head out. All right, so args is nothing. KWR to just target scan me in map or okay. Alright, so it's executing our in-map scan. So we're at a break point. Take a look at something. Did we loop back over to the tool call again? Why it says that one is still running. Oh, I know why. Because we do actually have a flaw in the logic. Yep, so there's all of our in-map data. So the in-map data did come back, but then unfortunately it started calling it again. Okay, so we need to go fix a couple of things. We need to go add the output from the tool call to the context. Let's go ahead and kill this. All right, so, I mean, that's working. It's a little sub-ideal. Go ahead and take that out. Wait, I can't do it there because it's over here. Let's make a new to-do for tomorrow. So we need to fix router to and message, and then route back to call. Is it call model? What are we routing back to? Route back to recon model call. Okay. Yes. I think that's what we're gonna wrap. At least we know what kind of where it's running on here. It's gonna think these are still running. Eventually they'll say like, oh, they died. If I can I tell that these are done? Let's see if anybody's over on InfoSec streams. Mozo's on. Oh wait, is he getting off right now? Son of a bitch! Damn it, we actually had somebody fun to go raid, and he just got offline. Alright, let's see who else got online right now. Let's see. Hey, Sid's on. Actually, let's go raid him to him. Yep. Go hit him up. Alright, guys, that's all I got for tonight. Thanks for checking out with the news. We'll fix the bot again some more on Saturday. Have some fun. At least we kind of know where it's going with that. Everyone, keep kicking ass this week. Y'all doing wonderful. You had a badass Monday. You had a badass Tuesday. Keep kicking ass the rest of the week. I have faith in you. You can do it. And that's all I got. Oh wait, no. I forgot. There was one more thing. I love you. Peace.